So now it says that you guys can hear me, and let's see. It's not live. Oh, perfect. Good afternoon, good evening, and good day, and also good morning to those of you on the West Coast. And hey, Motoko. So you got Casey and Motoko here today. Hey, baby. Oh, she's being shy now. Anyway, so the beginning of this show is actually brought to us by Robert William, and we'll get started on that as soon as I get everything in order. The computer was not playing nice today. Let's see, we want the chat so I can see you guys. And we want the articles so that we can talk about them. Take my vitamin and medicine. All right, we're ready to get started. Oh my goodness, Zachary, jumping in early. Thank you, appreciate it. I'm going to be watching my car race Formula One. I'll watch you later on repeat. Thank you for the great work you do. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Show that on stream there. And I can't hear you guys. So let me. It says it's using this thing, but it's clear. Oh yeah, there it goes. Oh my goodness. I guess I had to open the audio panel to get the speakers to work. All right, so let's get started. So first up, Robert sent us this. Now, we've also got some videos from the other co-hosts here, and we'll bring those up next. But let's start with the articles from Robert. I've actually read some of them. The others, we will react together. Let's get this thing in Blogger Reacts view. Wah! And so Robert found this article from The Drive on this 932,000 mile Tesla Model S. It's still hanging in there. So what is that, a million kilometers? Let's see. Miles, yes. They gave it to me in scientific notation. Let's pull it up. That's still not very useful in scientific notation. There we go. Let's just do it this way. So we're looking at. Did I type it wrong? It's over a million kilometers. That's why. That explains it. But I mean, I wouldn't expect scientific notation until we get into like over a billion miles. Oh well, let's get on it. It's not what you'd call original, but that's still a lot of miles for less than a decade. Good evening, Anders. Good to see you. All right, so this one, I think we've seen a couple articles on it in the past, but it's always good to see, kind of like that Volvo with the million plus miles. Kind of good to see them get the status updates. So this one was owned by, or is owned by, a German taxi driver, and has averaged 150,000 miles annually since July of 2019. 408 a day, even during COVID. Wow. It's a lot of gas savings. Exactly, Eddie. Oh wow. All right, so I need to actually do something real quick here. For those of you that watch on replay, it's not defaulted to uh, allow you guys to watch it again later. I need to turn that on. Uh, oh, it's on now. Even better. So, but see, that's the thing. Like every now and then, I go in there and it's already set, and every other time it's not. Anders is on a floorball game. That's cool. Awesome. All right, so yeah, this is cool to see this update on this Model S, and uh, the reason I had picked this one as soon as I saw it was you keep hearing about, oh, this is new technology. Can I trust it? Blah blah blah. What year is this car? It is a P85, so it's rear-wheel drive. And let's see, let's do Control F in the correct window. 20. So the door handle's been replaced 4 times. Well, oh, it's just Russian sensors will hatch it. I was looking for the model year of this thing. I think it was a 2012 or 2013. It hasn't been maintenance free by any means, but what car is really it? But the fact that it's been able to keep going all this time just goes to all the naysayers saying it's new. I'm afraid of it. I can't do it. Blah blah blah. Don't worry about it. Just it's a car. Get in it, drive it, and it's got less moving parts and less stuff to worry about than a fossil or even a hydrogen car. So it'll be good. Also, good evening to, or good yeah, good morning to Timothy, and also good evening. And let's see. What do I think about Dan O'Clown? Oh man, if I got some stuff for you on that dude. uh, I think he's a liar and a cheat. But beyond that, I think he has no morals. Tell us how you really feel about this guy. And you guys know I usually hold my punches and give people the benefit of a doubt. And no, this guy's trying to abuse politics to substitute his inability to compete. And I totally understand if people were not competing fairly to try and jump in, but this is not that. And it's not even like adjacent like some of the SpaceX competitors. They're like, oh, they're going to ruin our ability to do our job. At least then, yeah, like, oh, is it really? Not this guy, straight up lies. Yeah, well, that was the show 'cause that he pokes his ugly head into. Um, let's see. Let's move on to the next one. And I still don't have a switch tab button, Microsoft. So we will bring them over. All right. So I'll let you know when I either get to the notes or the other hosts until I say otherwise. These are all from Robert William. So Add Motor M340 electric tricycle gets a battery update for long and stable cruising. So I keep saying electrify all the things, right? That means everything from bicycles, tricycles, boats, planes, cars, your home heating and cooling and everything should be electrified and solar powered or any other sort of renewables like hydro or wind, even nuclear, but that's not exactly green. It's just very efficient compared to the other non-renewable sources. Oh, you smile. Look at you. You want to smile for the camera? Hi, baby. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you shy again? Okay, well. Oh, really? That's not how you say hi. Oh, you see that the mom put on the counter, huh? Yeah, I'll get that to you in a minute. Do a bib. Here you go. Yes, yes. I saw it too. All right. You want this milk, right? There you go. Mm. Oh, you don't want it. Okay, that's fine too. Save it for, oh, you do want it. Okay. All right. So yeah, electrify all the things, and if you want to carry more cargo, or if you have mobility issues where you can't balance a two-wheel bicycle, a tricycle is a good thing to have. Exactly, Eddie. It seems very practical. And let's see what the new range is 125 miles. Good gracious. It's a 48-volt pack at 20 amp hours and 960 watt hours, so almost a kilowatt hour. You'd have to use the lowest setting to go that far. with the large capacity from the Samsung 2170s. I'm dropping that extra zero because, like Elon, I find it redundant. um, Meant that the higher power settings would also yield impressive range results. Um, is that this one or the old one? That's the old one. So now the company is bringing to set up a three-wheel favorite, the M340. That's been top speeds of 20 or 32 kilometers on either throttle or pedal assist. I'm sure if you just pedal faster, they can't stop you, but I understand that the motor was not cheap, no, but a lot of trikes aren't. 350-pound rider. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is very. If you're not gonna drink it, I'll just put it down. You're playing with me, splashing me with milk, baby. So this one's got a 750-watt motor. Love to see a 450-pound trike rider and cargo climbing a steep hill. That would be interesting. Uh, 7-speed shifter. Yeah, see, that's the other thing is people assume that electrics don't have gearboxes. It's just they're less likely to have. Okay, let's see. What's the range at approximately 35 miles an hour? Well, I would say it's 0 because it can only do 20. um, Speeds of up to 20 miles per hour here. Yeah, so I think to get to 35, you'd have to get it to boost you up to 20, and then you would have to add in the extra 15 miles an hour, assuming that the motor doesn't just dial itself back to keep you at the speed limit. I've seen both ways, where one where it just gives you up to this much assistance, and then the others where once you exceed it, they start dialing back to keep you at the speed limit. And then a buddy of mine I worked with in Charleston, he modified his so that it would do 45 miles an hour, and he did that his first trip to work, and he never did it again. After that, he was doing the more reasonable, not quite at the cap that the vehicle came with stock, but no longer just as fast as the motor would take him. All right, let's see. So next up, this one was pretty cool because I liked it when I saw the concept, and then when I saw the next concept, it was even nicer. Uh, Not as beautiful as the first concept, but still good looking. Honda and Sony have signed an agreement for a new EV joint venture brand, and I'm wondering if it'll be the Sony Vision concept, but in production, or if it's going to be a whole new thing. I'm hoping it's the Vision because look at that sedan. That's beautiful. The SUV looks a little puffed up, like, just like the Model X is like somebody stuck a straw on the top of Model S. And said same with the Model Y versus the Model 3. Uh, but which one would I get? I would get the SUV because it's more practical for what we do. But man, does the sedan look great. All right, so let's see. They plan to form a new company and build and sell EVs by 2025. And Honda will provide manufacturing facilities, and Sony will provide its tech-focused expertise. This would help both companies really, because Sony doesn't currently build cars, and Honda doesn't currently make very many EVs worldwide. Yes, we do. That's right. What are you doing? She's licking the straps. All right. So while Honda and Sony are still in the process of negotiating the details, they said in a joint statement the goal is to create a new company within a year. Um, I think that what we're going to find out is that that vision concept was further along than they ever led us to believe. Because if you can get a car company up in 3 years, well, 2 years really, and then have a product out on the road, then you're further along than you ever led on to telling us. As we've seen with everybody else taking what 6 7 years to get their EVs out on the market. So I mean, even Tesla, they were pretty slow getting their cars to market. Look at well, the Model X was pretty quick, but look at the Model 3. The Model Y was pretty quick too, but that was a little bit of a head start. Look at the Cybertruck and the semi. So everybody seems to take some time. That's pretty cool. Thank you for that, Robert. And let's see. This one is kind of cool. Sounds like the little one's getting excited about the whole gearbox issue. Indeed. And Honda's already out there. Yeah, Honda is, but they make fossils and their EV. They have a couple plug-in hybrids, and they have the E-Up in Europe, or at least the UK anyway. And that's not exactly a world car. It's, for one, it's not legal in most of the world, and two, it's kind of small. Yeah. Are you doing sit-ups, stand-ups? You doing squats? She's doing squats. This is as if you see me rocking. She's got some leg muscles. All right, so next one. What did I say? One of my fast chargers in Charleston was near a Starbucks, but it wasn't hosted by Starbucks. It was an EVgo, and that was the one I keep talking about, where the construction crew came in building what I think was a bank, and they kept cutting it off. So there's third-party DC fast chargers for you. But the first one's installed at Starbucks store in Provo, Utah, and there's going to be 60 that are going to be installed at 15 Starbucks stores along the scenic route linking Seattle to Denver. That's good. The more trips you can take, the better, and the more options you have, because not everybody's going to use all of them, but the more options, the better, because it'll allow load balancing. It'll allow you to just kind of just go. You don't have to think about plan. You just put it in your GPS, and the car will figure out where you need to go. That's good. All right, so let's see. When do they get to this? This is part of the pilot project, so we might see more Starbucks stores. I wouldn't say all of them because of the way they've located themselves. Was it Mr. Black said that Starbucks across from a Starbucks and Starbucks inside of a Starbucks. Uh, so yeah, really, exactly. That is amusing. Oh, all right. So only drivers of any CCS1 or CHAdeMO receptacle will be able to use these stations for a fee. Volvo drivers will have access to these stations at no charge or at preferential rates. That's pretty cool. And these are going to be charge points. And the C40 recharge from 20 to 90 in 40 minutes. There we go. And here's a list of cities. Not bad. Can't wait till we get out there on our little road trips. We might take a look at this. All right, let's see what we got next from Robert here. He's got a YouTube video from a dealer, a local dealer. I need to remember to mute this as soon as it comes on.
Hello.
At least he didn't have music, but because it was not doing my mute. So he's got a Nissan Aria for display over at Aylesbury Nissan, and if you want to go over and take a look, it's right there for you to see. And he's probably telling us stats about it right now. I was hoping he opened it up. I think it's a beautiful car. All right, so moving on, we're going to look at. He had an article from San Diego contending that they knew why more people weren't buying EVs, and I wasn't really necessarily giving any veracity to their conclusions, but they do have the point of. Excuse me. They did come up with a bunch of the excuses that folks use about why they don't go with electric. You know, it's new technology. Where can I fill it up? It looks expensive. Where will I get it repaired? Blah blah. So the point of sharing this one wasn't to stop you from getting an EV, but no, it was for us to discuss what what kind of objections you've seen. My favorite one is one of my younger sisters would always tell me in the middle of a multi-thousand-mile trip, she would say, "Oh, you can't go anywhere with those." And I'm like, "Do I just snap my fingers and appear here?" And and so that was always amusing to me that you could contend such a thing to somebody in the middle of a road trip. The other one I see a lot is about how they're cars for rich people or coal, blah blah blah. For one, you can get them for as low as in the 20s, new, and if you go used, Robert Williams keeps finding them for us for in the teens. So if you're ready to buy a car used and you want an EV, hit up Robert Williams, and he might be able to point you in the direction of a good affordable one. Or use your regular resources and just make sure you go for a test drive and maybe bring it past a an EV mechanic. Maybe if you know a Tesla Ranger or sorry, Tesla Mobile Service Tech or a Rivian calls theirs Ranger still, I believe. Or just anybody like our friend Paul Gusek in Boulder, Colorado. Uh, he's been a mechanic for many years, and he's been working on hybrids and EVs for a good chunk of that time. And just make sure you get a good second opinion on it and know what you're getting into with an older used car like that. But it might not even be that much older if it's a used $20,000 electric car instead of a used $150,000 electric car. Um, why have you licked the mess out of my buckle here? It's gross. Yeah, I said you were being gross. You got mommy's hair on your face, huh? Okay. Uh, so what are some of the things that people have told you about why your car would never work while you had it? I want to see what you have to say about it in the comments there. One that came up yesterday or the day before was I think it was the day before yesterday. Ning, really? Really? Stand by. Ning means something specific. Yeah. Oh, you did? Okay. Okay. Ning ning. Mommy changed diaper, all right? There you go. Yeah. And this. All right. So the one that came up yesterday was one of my mechanic friends posted a quote that somebody got at a Chevy dealership. He's also a Chevy mechanic, and he said that it wasn't too far off, but it was a photo of a quote that it was like $23,000 to $28,000 battery replacement quote for a Chevy Volt. We don't know what year it was because I didn't decode the VIN and it didn't say on the paper. So I'm assuming it's a first gen because the second gens should all be too new to need a battery pack unless they've been in a collision. And folks were telling him, "Oh, that's fake." Hello, Omar.
Hello. Hello, Casey. Hello, everybody.
So folks were telling him that the quote was fake, and he went ahead and looked up in his system, and he said it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not what they would charge at his shop or one of my former shops. If you want to have me narrow it down a little bit as to where the guy was, but try not to dox him there. And I've worked at enough car dealerships that you don't know which one it was. And then I pointed out that I was able to find a used Chevy Volt battery for under $7,500, lightly used. And then he's like, "Yeah, but you still got labor." And then we reminisced for a little while about how much labor there is in getting a Chevy Volt battery pack down because while they made it serviceable, they did not make it quick and easy. So it's very much like the new Model Y structural pack, where you're taking out almost the whole interior of the car to get this thing done. Uh, in the case of the Chevy, the seats still stay in place, but you're taking out the center console. You're taking out a bunch of wires and cables and coolant lines, and then it comes down. It's not the simple 1-2 twist that you get on the Model S, and X, or the slightly more involved that you get on the Model 3, the non-structural Model 3, which is all the ones that we know we've seen so far. I'm sure there's a structural Model 3 prototype running around out there somewhere, and, when you add in all of that labor, it's a day to get the battery out, a day to do the work, and then a day to put it back in, uh assuming that shop has a qualified, certified technician that can do the high voltage work, and they have the up to date tools and certification with Chevy. So it's not outside the realm, but it was on the high side. But some folks were trying to use that as like, see, this is why you can't go electric, or see, you don't save anything because of repairs. And
That's not a normal repair. It's not like you're doing that every year.
exactly, you got an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the. Oh, so that's the other thing. Uh, so that would have to be in early 2012 for them to even have to pay for it.
Right.
or oodles
Or
of miles. And we have a friend in one of our groups that Omar and I are in, and he likes to say those are second owner problems. Doesn't bode well for what I was just saying about buy a used car. But again, that does go into why I say get an expert to look at it. Don't just buy it because it's cheap. So what have people told you, Omar, about why they're afraid to get an EV, as they see you driving yours and overcoming whatever perceived issues they have?
so a lot of them are just uneducated about EVs in general. So people normally are afraid of change, or they're afraid of the unknown. They're afraid of whatever it is that they don't understand or that they don't know.
Yeah,
And a lot of the things that people, a lot of the excuses that people give are things that aren't necessarily true, and they just don't realize it because
right.
they've been led to believe certain things that just aren't true. Like, oh, if you want to take a long road trip, it'll take forever to charge you. You got to stop. You got to keep stopping every couple hours, and you got to wait a whole hour to charge up each time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
these things just aren't just not true.
The only
And
time the only time it's even close to true is when I'm towing at max load.
right, so
And that's just because at the time I was towing, the supercharger network was still building out, but it was still way more robust than it could have been.
right, so I dispel that all the time, and I explain to them like, listen, I take road trips all the time.
Yes,
It's really not a problem, and you're not waiting an hour at a time. And then they're like, well,
exactly.
how long do you know? Wait, like I drive a few hours, I stop, I plug in, I go to the bathroom, I get my cup of coffee, whatever. I come back out to the car, and I'm ready to go. It
Exactly.
doesn't. It's really not any type of hindrance on my travel at all.
Yeah.
So when I explain these things to people, and then their eyebrows start raising. They're like, really? Yes, really. No, I don't. They know. No, I don't work for any car company. They know, you know, I'm a real true owner, and this is my experience, and I live this lifestyle. This is what I live it every day. I
Yeah.
drive back and forth to work every day. It's very convenient for that. I'm never stopping at a gas station. I charge up at home, so it's more convenient than driving their gas vehicle that they have. Um, and then the cost. That's the other factor. Everybody talks about, oh, well, the electric cars, they cost so much. They're
Buy all the options.
these $100,000 cars and whatnot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't have to get $100,000 car to
Right.
have an EV.
You don't even have to get a new one
The
to have an EV.
car
They've
that
been
I
around for
drive
10
is not
years.
but the car that I drive is not $100,000 car. It's
Exactly.
brand new. It's not a
Right.
$100,000 car.
Well, if you
So
get it used at a dealer, it might be.
maybe,
Oh, a little
but
Schadenfreude right there. The used car market is getting better, but man, is it still twisted.
it's still pretty bad. Yeah. But so no, once you just start dispelling those myths, especially I really have a good I really find it very interesting dispelling the myths with people that drive high end cars, people that drive those Cadillac SUVs or those BMW SUVs or those Acuras, or those, the cars that price wise they're in the same
Yeah.
category. So it's not like they would have just, even on the upfront cost, would have saved a ton of money by driving gas. So
Right.
then you factor in all the gas that they're spending or other maintenance that EVs don't have. Now
Right.
and then the depreciation, that's the other thing, they hold their value.
They
So if
do.
you're the type of person that, after 3 or 4 years you're buying a new car and you want to trade your car in, it's going to hold its value better. So I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, uh, These,
Yeah, on my Model S, I put a whole oodles of miles on it, and the only money I really lost was because it was been in a crash. And if had it not been in a crash, I probably would have just washed out in it and been able to just slide straight into the Model X. And you
yeah,
did very well in your Model S.
right. Yeah. So I put tons of miles on my Model S, and when I got rid of it, it still held pretty good, darn good value. Um, I sold it to a relative, so I gave him a large discount, but I could have gotten a lot more for the vehicle
Right, you got
easily,
some nice
very
quotes.
easily. Um, and and then I got my Model Y, but it's they hold their value very well.
Yeah.
And in fact, I know people that have sold their used Model 3s or Model Ys for more money than they paid for them
Yes.
after a year of using it. Like,
You're more, yeah.
like they've had the car for a year or more, put a bunch of miles on it, and then sold the car for more money than they paid for it. Like, you don't see that with gas cars at all whatsoever.
Not until they hit that
So
collectible stage and they're like, I've got my 1932 Rolls right here.
right. If you got a vintage, oh, I got the 1962 whatever,
It's numbers matching original
and
paint.
it's fully restored back to. Okay, then all right, fine. You made money on that car, but that's a rare find.
Right, and that was more of a collectible than a automobile at that point.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, we're gonna get ready to go into the next story. But anybody in the audience there, if you want to type up, let us know what you've run into with the dispelling myths and getting people into EVs. Let me know. Let's see. Next up is one. This is still coming from Robert, but Omar originally brought us the story, and so Robert brought us the follow up. So that Polestar 02 that you sent us a couple weeks ago, the nice, beautiful blue one that we saw, Polestar's renamed it the O2 concept, renamed the O2 concept to the Polestar 6, and they say it will launch in 2026. So that was, again, clearly one that they had intended to actually produce. It's only going to take them 4 years to make it. And man, and they got a name already.
So they'll probably actually make it. I mean, 4 year timeline for the development and everything of a new vehicle.
Yeah.
That's about the right amount of time that manufacturers usually take. So
That means they've been working on it already, because the only way that you can do 4 years or less without like a massive push
but this
is
is
it's
this
it's
is after
it's the
announcement.
yeah, after announcing it. So that means they've been working on it before they announced it. But if they announce and they announce it and it's less than 6 or 7 years, and they're not pushing hard, the only other way to do that is to repanel another car. So like the Model 3 to the Model Y, where it's basically 75% the same, or like the Volkswagen and Hyundai twins, where all they do is change the sheet metal around. Uh, those are a lot easier to bring to market because you've already got a car that's already on the market and crash tested and proven, and you're just changing styles to make sure that make sure that the crash tests are still valid. You got to make sure that the fuel economy is right, and then you got to get your marketing together, and then of course source the new panels and stuff. But other than that, that's a car that's already done. So if you see it less than that, that means they've been working on it for a while. If they're not doing a mad dash, that is a pretty car.
My
We
question
saw,
is this: how
yeah.
close is it going to look like that
That's a good
concept?
question. We haven't seen too much from Polestar on concepts yet to know if they're the Honda and Tesla type, or if they're the Cadillac type, where it doesn't look anything like it. I doubt it'll have the drone.
Well, isn't Polestar like with VW or
Volvo.
Volvo? Okay, that's right.
hmm They used to be
So
a badge that Volvo would put on their performance cars, and then they were a badge that Volvo put on their plug-in cars, plug-in hybrids, and then they spun it off as its own brand.
So, do Volvo concept cars usually look like the concept when they actually release them later?
I never even looked at Volvo concepts before, other
Me
than those
either,
like
but
self-driving
I'm just
trucks.
curious, like because
That's a good question.
if their production cars look like their um concept cars, then this may look very close to their
Good
production
point.
car.
Good point.
However, if they normally don't, then this probably won't.
Right, because they have that same ethos, that same ethos, the mindset from the parent company, and I say that they're from Volvo. I don't want to say necessarily they're owned by Volvo, because they're both owned by Geely. So they're Chinese now. Forget the Scandinavians. Sorry, guys. Although they do keep, I think from what I understand, the Volvos are still done in the same place. They didn't do anything but move the ownership, which is fine. All right. So again, just a little refresher on what it looked like. I hope it looks like this, because this is a beautiful car. Not practical for me anymore now that I have the baby seat, but man.
It does
Oh,
look
it's
nice.
got a back seat. Or when she goes off to school. All right, so let's move on to the next one that we got sent here. So I keep talking about electric vans all the time, and Robert's picked up on this, and we've been discussing them, and he sent us this one. So this one is what I think that the Ram ProMaster is going to be like in the States, because it is. The Fiat Group has a lot of vans that all they've done is just change the front end, maybe the back doors, and essentially they're all the same van. And let's see, what was the range on this one? What Ram was talking about for their range was under 200 miles, so I'd kind of turned it off. But in Europe, you don't need a 200-mile range, and as we talked about with Dan with the school buses, if it's appropriately set up for its actual use case rather than its off-label uses, like I keep looking at all these vans for, um, then the fleet owner is going to know what they do, and as long as it exceeds what they need by just a little bit, they'll be fine. And maybe a little bit more than that for wintertime use, so they don't have to adjust with the seasons. So range, 90 kilowatt engine. It's not inaccurate, but it's just so weird to hear somebody call an electric motor an engine. 154 miles range on, I'm assuming the Nidec. So let's call it a 100-mile range, and it lines up exactly with what Dodge was talking about. But like I keep saying, electrify all the things, and in this case, if you're just delivering packages or running shuttle, then you'll know what your use case is, and you don't have to worry about whether or not it can make it to the next DC fast charger or not. Good find. Then he found this, which I thought was really cool, because it goes on to the solar trailer concept we were talking about when Tesla put theirs out. All right, let me mute this one too. Oh, it's already muted. Perfect. This mobile nano grid brings reliable power to disaster-struck communities. Coming from Future Blink and Mashable. Sesame Solar is prefabricated nanogrids with foldable solar panels. Looks like a food truck, but it's really full of batteries and electricity and water. This one's equipped with green hydrogen. That's one good way to do it with hydrogen.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And there it is. So with the hydrogen, again, you've got so much infrastructure to deal with hydrogen. I don't know that even there that would be practical.
I mean, if the whole purpose is for you to go into areas that the infrastructure has been wiped out, and you're setting up these microgrids, and you're bringing power there, I mean, you whatever you're bringing, you want it to be all self-contained and able to. So, are they trying to create the hydrogen on board with the solar?
That would be cool. But
I
with
mean,
the,
because
with the amount of solar they had showing there, I don't know that would
it just
be.
doesn't. I don't
Yeah,
think that's really practical with hydrogen. So my point
exactly.
is, having that thing full of batteries and
Right,
having a big solar array that folds out and everything that can catch a bunch of sun and keep those battery charged and output a bunch of power, that to me makes sense.
right. Yeah, because with that you could have you could run a small neighborhood and just the essentials. Nobody's gonna be running their AC on this. You run a whole small neighborhood. You can recharge the fire chief or ambulance or the sheriff's car, and then everybody else is walking. But or you just get a bunch of these, and then you just live life like normal. But that one could handle a small neighborhood and a couple of critical vehicles, and they can do it through the night if assuming that thing is full of batteries. But if it's full of hydrogen equipment, then you're just wasting so much of that juice on there's nothing to burn the hydrogen with. And you don't want to just have a hydrogen flame to keep warm, because that's an invisible flame, and it'll still set stuff on fire.
No, I mean, I was thinking if they're going to use hydrogen, it'd be like a fuel cell vehicle type of thing.
Right, but I'm saying
But
if you're bringing it into a disaster area, you don't have anything that's already burning fuel cells. It's like if you drop it off in, like, say, Southern California, you can run the Mirage, but what else is running on fuel cells today? Like, you'd have to drop off that and something to use the hydrogen.
well, I was thinking maybe that itself is using the hydrogen.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
that would work.
they're trying to
Like,
create the hydrogen with
yeah.
the power from the solar, and then use the hydrogen as hydrogen fuel cells to run basically be a generator to create the power to output. But to me, it'd be more efficient just to use the solar battery combo.
Right, because I mean, with this, there's enough room inside for hundreds of pounds of batteries. Based on what I'm seeing, I've got a dual axle frame here. It's a cargo trailer. It's got an air conditioner on top. I would put the air conditioner, like, I would do a mini split off the back. It's more efficient, and it also gives you more roof space for more panels. And I'm sure that the reason they don't have more panels is the weight of the frame and the weight of the tow vehicle. But yeah, if that was full of batteries, I think it would make more sense. I can understand, like, maybe if you had like a propane bottle situation for the hydrogen, you could use that as, like, auxiliary, but then that's weight that you lost to batteries, or lost for batteries for this hydrogen fuel cell reformer situation. I wonder if that hydrogen is just to get the hydrogen money from the government. It's the only thing that makes practical sense. It's like, hey, we're going to give you 10,000 for hydrogen projects. Okay, we'll take the 10,000.
I hope that's not the case though, because that's just such a waste.
Yeah, I mean, because what I'm saying there is very practical, and it also looks like, because we saw water filters in there when they were talking about hydrogen. It looks like they have a little water generation on board, which would be really cool too. I would say power a water pump, and then run that water pump through some really great filters, and then just get your fresh water from on site, assuming that the disaster wasn't a fire or drought. But if it's a flood, there's plenty of water, and now you just need it to be drinkable. But that's cool stuff. Let's go on to the next one. So Robert sent us this one from Inside EVs. NIO has confirmed their first shipment of ET7 sedans has set sail for Europe. They promised us this earlier, and it's good to see that they are following through. This one is the Carmen Stronglum. Of course, there's music. I didn't say unmute it. I said skip forward. Carmen Stockholm. All right, so they're loading up. It doesn't look like they've filled the ship. They could have, but if they filled the ship, you normally get one of them Tesla-style port shots where it's just full. So they're probably just a significant portion of this load. And there they go.
Oh, that's interesting. They drive them all on with the covers on them.
Yeah. Roll on, roll off. That's why the Volkswagen ones and some of the performance Teslas, they have the zippers, so you can still see through them, and they don't get scratched or anything, which is pretty fun. Hello, Deutschland. Hey, Deutsch. They're ready, so it's always good. Like I keep saying, more options, electrify all the things.
You're sending them to Germany.
This one, yes, this one's got a. If you just read the headline and you don't see the picture, it's got a little bit of a misleading name. But as we've seen, a lot of the Chinese companies don't really care about your intellectual rights. And let's take a look. There we go. The BYD Corvette 07 PHEV SUV is revealed to China to debut this week. So I'm not saying that this time that they stole somebody's design. I'm just saying that, you see that name and you might think they had something to do with GM, and no. As we saw in the past,
they just don't care.
They don't care. When the EVs were first getting started, we saw a lot of There was one that looked like a Ford Edge. This is the one that I just keep going back to. It was like the E6 or something was its name.
In fact, this design language looks a little familiar too.
It does. It looks a little bit like a Mitsubishi to me. E6 plug-in. That's the one. In person, it looked exactly like the Ford Edge of the era as you were approaching it. This must be a newer or older one. Either way, they don't care. All right, so now let's get on to see what some of the co-hosts have brought us. Let's see. Dan had a bunch, and then did you have any this week, Omar?
No, I didn't. I don't think I sent
Okay.
anything this week.
Got some really fun ones coming up. I just wanted to hit these before because last week I forgot. So I forgot to do Marcus's video for one. Let's see. So Dan reminds us that Nichelle Nichols, she's gonna get launched into space posthumously, obviously. That's Uhura for those of you that don't know the actor's name from Star Trek.
From Star Trek, yes.
Dawood
It seems appropriate and very fitting to have her ashes going, to go explore the last frontier.
Yes. All right, so this one is from Dawood, and he promised us a video of his charging situation, and let's take a look. Let's unmute it.
Well, today is Friday, Kuman Day for my kids, so that means I'm at the supercharger charging up. You need to unplug me? Go ahead, unplug me. And there's been some repairs are being done here. So yeah, this is where I charge up sometimes on Fridays. You can see it's pretty busy. I think we have 8 stalls or 10 stalls over here at the Holiday Lane supercharger in Fairfield.
I just want to interrupt for a second and point out that Dawood did hold the camera the right way, but the phone disagreed what the right way was.
You can see the 80 freeway is not too far away, so this is a great stop if you're heading east. You're going to get to Tahoe. Heading west, you're going to get to San Francisco. People like to stop at Denny's or In-N-Out Burger, but over here is the Rayleigh's supermarket, grocery store, and where the Kuman is, and right over here is some construction. So we're going to show you that in just a second. So now I've moved the car from where we normally charge here at Holiday Lane over to where I showed you the construction is, and let's zoom into the construction site. And what I didn't know was happening is that they're building more superchargers right here
and some generic ones too.
Where we like to do our grocery shopping.
Yeah.
And it looks like also a couple of EV Go's are there also. So this is going to be way more convenient because when my daughters are done with their Kuman, then they can just walk over to the car. They don't have to worry about them crossing this busy street, which I never have them do.
Right.
So I have to unplug and go over and pick them up. Now I can just stay plugged in over here and have them walk over to the car.
I like it.
That's cool. So they're expanding more superchargers where they already have chargers over here. Now they're expanding more right over here.
That's good.
They just continue to keep expanding, which I love. That's awesome. It really helps get rid of that whole stigma of, oh, but you have to charge your car and I don't know where all the charging. Well, you know what? The charging is becoming, just as abundant, or if not more abundant than gas stations. So,
Indeed,
I like it.
All right. So I once again almost forgot to show you Marcus's video. So let me find the chat. There we go. So then I will do. Oh, this is interesting. But now I'm sharing an app instead of the web. Stand by.
And don't forget to hit the like button.
That's right. Thank you, Anders. Thank you, Omar. I don't want to share Edge. I want to share a window. This one called Media Viewer. So this is a little prototype that's cooked up for Marcus and EV Smoke. We say prototype because, as Omar pointed out, this one still has door handles. So this is the future of how Smoke is going to get around. I mean,
That's
yes,
a cool animation.
yeah. I mean, yes, Smoke could drive to the track, but then you've wasted battery. So, in order to give you all day at the track without a recharge, Smoke will arrive on the back of whatever name the Cybertruck happens to get named. Probably like Smoke Transport or something.
Smokestack.
Smokestack, smoke chauffeur. Um, what's up, Lee?
What's up, Lee?
Yep. Eddie said non-EV people always have lame excuses. The ones that are doing it just as an excuse, they have lame excuses. But the ones that just don't know and don't understand, I don't want to say that they are doing it maliciously. They are still lame, but not intentionally lame.
Yeah, a lot of the people that I've talked to, it's really out of just more ignorance than it is out of just being lame or whatever. It's just they just don't know.
Exactly.
So as you educate them, and then they the wheels start turning, and they're like, oh, this is something I need to consider. I really need to seriously consider doing this, going this route.
Exactly.
And I think it helps that all the legacy OEMs are now going in this direction, because that helps lead the masses too. When it's names that they know and that they trust and that they've been dealing with forever, all the brand loyalists out there that, oh, I only buy Lexus or I only buy BMWs or whatever. Those people are now going to start, being able to see, oh, okay, my brand is now making them as well.
Now I have an option, so now they're not stupid. I've always wanted one, but now they're not stupid.
Right.
All right, so the Tesla Cybertruck is truly breathtaking, but look at the size of its dedicated supercharger. And I don't believe this is actually a dedicated supercharger.
I don't
looks
think that's for the Cybertruck. I think that's for the Semi.
no, because this is a regular supercharger slot. Remember, the Semi has the Charger V3s, V3 pedestals.
Okay, so then it's for towing.
Yep. So I plan, since the Model X tows, I plan to use these judiciously. So here we can see that they're both wider and longer than the regular spots. Now this one says no parking, probably so you can get a trailer in there without clipping another car or having to do any sort of shenanigans. I do believe this was Mark that pointed out this one is labeled compact. There are no compact Teslas.
I mean, Model 3 is a full size car.
That's what I'm saying. It's full size. It's not even mid size.
Well, wait. Maybe that Roadster's coming.
Perhaps. I'm thinking what it really was is they forgot to repaint the they kept the no parking, but they forgot to repaint over the compact labeling.
That's possible.
Yeah.
No, I'm holding on to my dream. The Roadster, it's coming.
But the pedestals are in the right space for the spots. Well, not entirely, because look, even though this one's no parking, if you were to park here, you'd use that. So the parking spots are not in the right spot because
Well, no, it is.
it's on your left. It's on your left rear. That's the right rear.
If you parked there where it says no parking,
Oh wait, well then you wouldn't want a charger and no parking.
You would take up the stall that the other one needs for that pulling spot.
So they're right. They're right. Yeah, because this would go here. This would go here, and then the sign. You always line your backup camera up with the sign. So they may still adjust them a little bit, but they're not adjusting them much if they do. But look, they're each on the line. So I think those are the final lines.
I think it's lined up correctly.
I think they just need to get rid of that word compact.
Yeah.
And already this when I get there, this one's got extra points for the review. It's got a trash can. Now, if that trash can has a squeegee, they get another extra point.
Doesn't look like it does.
Woo! That is an installation. Look at that.
Wow.
Incredible. And there's more over here. Not labeled compact. I mean, look how much wider it is in the Model 3. This is definitely a Cybertruck spot. Now, the question is it wide for the Cybertruck or is it wide for the trailers?
I think it's for the towing.
Well, it's long for the towing, but is it
Yeah, but it's also wider for it as well. Because
okay
depending on what you're towing, it might be a little bit wider.
than the truck? Yeah.
So you might need a little space.
Yeah. All right, then.
'Cause the Cybertruck is going to have some awesome capabilities.
Yes, it will.
So
It's gonna be a
people will
monster.
find creative ways of using those.
Yes. All right. And so then our friend, Tesla owners of San Joaquin Valley, had this post when somebody asked if it was for Cybertruck or for semi-truck, and he brought some good news. The last time we saw a picture of the Tesla semi-charger, it was still called Megacharger at the time. It might still be called Megacharger, but that was before Tesla started referring to it only as the semi-charger in their latest marketing. And I don't want to say ads because they're not ads; they're just marketing. All right. See, I did the smart thing and I saved the tweet I wanted, didn't I? I did not. But I did email the tweet I wanted. And stand by. Check my sent messages.
You got to start bookmarking them.
Yes, I do. Let's check my sent messages for this account because if I check them all, then my servers email me a lot. And so it's like, you sent yourself this message. Yes, I did, technically. So I sent it to Tesla Life, and I said MCS3, baby, because the last time we saw a Tesla Semi or Tesla Megacharger connector, it was MCS2 or so. Well, now somebody has taken the liberty of picking up the new Tesla Semi handle, and we have discovered that it is MCS3. Look at that! Look at that! Remember, I've spent what 2, 3, 4 shows over all the various shows I appear on talking about MCS3.
There
Which
it
is
is.
the megawatt charging system. So it's based off of CCS, but it's got even bigger DC lugs. It's got a nice ground pin and the signal pins right there. And the handle from the outside doesn't look that much different, but from the connection end, it's all new, baby. All right, so
And the good thing is, this connector is going to be the standard for semi trucks. So like they finally got together, and every manufacturer is going to be all building the same standard. So this way, we don't have the fragmentation that
worldwide,
we have now.
yeah, worldwide.
Right. So we don't have the fragmentation like we have now, which is like a bunch of different connectors depending on the different types of EVs that's out there.
Right.
Where you have
Because
CCS, you have Chatamo, you have Tesla.
well, worse than that,
and then that's just here. Then you have the other standard, the other CCS standard in
right,
Europe, which is different. And
just slightly, just millimeters. It looks the same, but it's
I
not.
can make all the connectors the same. It's just it's better.
Right.
Better
So
for
this
everybody.
one is the same worldwide, and right, so DC signal, Earth, and so what we saw last time somebody picked up a Tesla Semi connector, it looked like this. So you had your signals and your ground here, and then you had these blades, which don't really look like they would be all that long-lived against hundreds of insertions and removals by folks that are not scientists. I'm not saying that truckers aren't smart. I'm just saying that when you're in a rush, you might just kind of, and you're not going to necessarily kind of make sure it's perfectly on angle and let me pull it out perfectly. No, I got places to go. That's how I do with the supercharger. Just pop it in there, and so this is more fitting for that. I'm not saying that wasn't robust, but it just is more complex than this.
So that may be a little more forgiving. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is Charin, just like CCS is. It's the same group. It was designed over 2020 to 2022, and starts on model year 2023. Has 5 to 7 pins. It's called the MCS connector, dedicated earth. Max voltage is 1250. Max current is 3000 amps. So 1.2 kilovolts and 3 kiloamps. That'll get you done. I still hold out hope that the Cybertruck can use the MCS, but also can use the superchargers. Yeah, I'm obsessed with the MCS.
Wonder how big of a battery pack Cybertruck's gonna have, because they were advertising 500 miles of range,
Right.
and so if it has 500 plus miles of range, probably gonna have a pretty big, pretty sizable battery pack, which means it could possibly take this connector. I don't know.
Right. And then also Elon talked about 800 volt architecture. So it'd be very easy to get 800 volts when you can do 1250. It's not that far of a jump from 1250 down to 300 and 400 like we have on the current Teslas. And let's see here. The other thing that came up with this, we talked a little bit about it last week. The Tesla Semi is going to be 3 motors instead of 4. And while we know the Cybertruck's going to be 4 motors, that gives us a little bit like where the capabilities is going to be. Both for fuel efficiency and towing, and like, because they added a motor and never told us how much more it could do. And then on the truck, they took away a motor and kept everything exactly the same. It's like, this is interesting times.
Well, I guess they've advanced a little bit since they first announced it, so they have better motors now than they did then. They probably learned a lot from the Plaid.
Yes.
So they figured out that they can do it with 3 motors instead of 4.
Yeah, and at the same time, though, making the truck cheaper is exactly what the bean counters want. I mean, because it can tow 82,000 pounds, because you get an extra 2,000 pounds for free because it's electric. And I'm betting that everybody else might need those 2,000 pounds. But because of the way that Tesla works, you now have a bonus 2,000 pounds over the competition. All right, so here's some outside the box thinking due to from our friend Tony Schaefer. All right, so I guess that means that Tony found this and gave it to our friend in this other group. It's not a private group, but here's the article. So the Daily Mail is showing that the Australian bank has announced that an Australian bank has announced that it will ban loans for petrol or diesel cars in order to fight climate change and encourage EVs. Now use some lame excuses. If you can't pay for the thing. Customer-owned Bank Australia will stop petrol and diesel loans from 2025. The Chief Impacts Officer, Sasha Corville, said that this was to decarbonize the economy. The federal ministers, Chris Bowen, Catherine King, and have announced new EV policies. So the next question is...
So I have a question on that.
Yeah.
Is this truly because the banks want to be more green and just want to, decarbonize?
I think the bank doesn't want to be a bag holder.
Or is the bank just trying to mitigate their risk on funding these loans on vehicles that are going to become quickly obsolete, and they just don't want
to... the loans over. Exactly.
And because the risk, the thing about banks and car loans is the purpose is that, okay, they're loaning you the money to get the car, but the car is the collateral. If you don't pay on your loan, they can take the car back and then sell it, auction it off, and recover their money.
Right.
Well, if they can't auction it off because nobody wants them because they're gas vehicles, maybe they don't want to take that risk. That's
exactly. Exactly. So 2025 is their cutoff. Remember, all of the gas bans around the world start at 2030. 2030, 2035, 2040, 2045, and in Saudi Arabia, 2050, of all places. But even Saudi Arabia, of all places, has one, and even though it's late as hell. So the typical car loan right now is running 72 months, And 2025 plus 72 months is they'll still be on the hook should something happen before the car is paid off and gas is banned. So now you can sell the used cars, but who's going to want one at the price that you have now invested in it? Should you have to repo this thing?
Right, but they are mitigating their risk a little bit, because if the ban starts in 2030, they stop doing loans in 2025. Okay, that's a 5-year, time period.
Right.
So they're only really taking a risk on that final year
Right.
of the loan, which will be mostly paid off. So they're like,
Exactly.
okay, at least the scrap metal itself will be worth enough for us to reclaim what's left on the loan at that point, at
Right.
that final year. So I think that's the calculation that they're making.
Yeah. And then to further not tip their hand, they're just saying no loans after 2025, because if they had said, oh yeah, and after this only 36-month loans, and after this 12-month loans, then you would know that they were totally
You
not
know
exposing
exactly what they were
themselves.
doing. Exactly.
And I'm sure that's probably the main reason. But then when you can spin it for the greenness, you can get a little bit of free advertising, because now the news people are running you worldwide. And
Yep.
I don't care why you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
I keep saying it constantly. Going
But
green,
doing the right thing is the economical is
right?
a
Going
good
green is
economical decision, right?
going green is usually good for your wallet. So I mean, assuming that you have a long-term mindset. If you're 3-month mindset, then yeah, it's not good for you. But eventually, even then, it will make sense. We're working on it. So kudos to them for doing the right thing for whatever reason. All right. So next up, we had this video. We've got better articles on it, but we had this video. I think it had music in the beginning, so let's stop. It did have music in the beginning. So yeah, there's a lot of magenta here. This is at Starbase though. So what this was T-Mobile and SpaceX have themselves a little bit of a collab going on.
Yes.
Yes. And I say a little bit, but this is
I watched this live.
monumental.
This is actually a big deal. Like, people don't realize how big a deal this is. This is really actually a big deal.
It's about it, Omar.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, so T-Mobile teamed up with SpaceX, and they're going to use the SpaceX satellites that they're launching up for what's that dishy McFly? You have it, Kacey. The Starlink, right?
Yes, Starlink.
So they're using all these satellites, this constellation of satellites that they're using for Starlink, to supplement T-Mobile's coverage. So now you're going to have worldwide coverage, no matter where you are, in the middle of the mountains somewhere, in the middle of nowhere, you're going to have coverage. You're going to be able to get that phone call out. You're going to be able to send that text message through.
Yeah.
Send off that email, no matter where you're at.
Exactly. I'm going to interrupt for a second. So remember a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how everybody was getting mad at Dish for misallocating their spectrum. Well, T-Mobile had some spectrum they weren't yet deployed on, that the new Starlink satellites, the V2 dishes, can output. So they're sharing this spectrum to achieve this awesome bit of progress. So as Omar was saying, there'll be connectivity everywhere, and Elon has confirmed that this will work on the cars, which is interesting because the cars run on AT&T in North America, or at least in the US. I think Rogers in Canada, and neither of them really use the T-Mobile spectrum, but I guess the cars have had the right modems in them for the long time. All right, so go ahead, continue, Omar.
So one of the reasons why this is a big deal is because not only are you now gonna not lose coverage wherever you're at, which is I mean, like I said, that's just really huge, especially like, for example, here in America, we have large parts of the country that are just total dead zones when it comes to cellular signal. That you're not getting any coverage no matter what carrier you have, it's just not happening.
Right.
And in all of those places, a lot of them in national parks and things of that nature, um, in all of those places, you'll now have coverage. But then on top of that, T-Mobile's just including this in their plans.
Free.
Like it's not even
No extra
called.
charge.
It's not
Yeah.
even like some extra add-on to your plan that you have to pay all this extra money for, because T-Mobile's, that's the affordable brand for the everyday person, right? So to go with their theme and their branding, they're just including these in their normal plans, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I'm excited for it, even though I don't personally have T-Mobile right now. At some point in time, after this is all up and running, I may actually switch. But it is exciting.
Yeah, and so this is going to take effect next year, or later this year, even whenever the first demo Starship launch goes. It's rumored that they're going to actually just try and use it to launch Starlink from Starship. Whether or not the bird comes back, it's gonna launch a couple of Starlink 2.0s up there, which is really cool. Lee says T-Mobile is blowing up, and she also asks, "Is anyone switching over?" I came to AT&T from T-Mobile, so I am actually predisposed to going back if the prices are right, and now that the coverage is right. The reason I switched, I got upset with them because my grandmother's cows had 5G and I had 3G, and so I switched because I was living in a little town. I got stuck in for a couple years, and
So I may switch over afterwards. I'm going to see how this plays out for a little bit, and then I may make the switch. And the other amazing thing is that they don't have you don't have to switch your phone. Like the current phones that
right,
are out now
are
will be
compatible.
compatible with this. So it's not like you have to get some special satellite phone that can receive the signal or anything like that. You're just using the regular normal phones that you already have.
Yeah, which is awesome. So what did you think of this, there, Dawood?
Yeah, I just heard about this one, I think, yesterday. So, cool.
So initially, it's going to be low speed, low data, and Elon said preferably asymmetrical. Just like with the cars, he doesn't start out saying how performant it is and all this stuff. He starts with safety, which I think, I mean, despite some of his quirks, I think that's one of the things I like about the guy. And I'm being generous when I call them quirks too. Uh, um,
Yeah. So
like if you're in one of these places, like he brought up the situation where you're out just enjoying nature solo, and nobody knows where you are, but you can get a message out, and text messages don't need to be real time. They can just happen. Like, here, next time a bird comes by, this is where Josh is, go pick him up. Hey, here's where Susie Q is, go grab her. And then from there they're going to work their way up to low speed data, up to 2 to 4 megs per cell. So that means each bird doesn't have a lot of speed for this yet, but they don't want to stop there. They're going to bring it to the cars. They're going to
but just to
slowly
give you an
phase this in.
idea on that, 2 to 4 megs, it's not enough to be considered like broadband internet or anything, but
Right.
it can support thousands of phone calls simultaneously.
Yes.
So that's why they're saying that this would be good for phone calls and text messaging, because text is very little data. Phone calls actually uses very little bandwidth. So you can do thousands of phone calls simultaneously,
Yeah.
probably hundreds of thousands of text messages going through simultaneously. And even emails can go through.
Yeah,
So,
and that's what they're starting on, is like text and email. Voice will be very close behind because, as Omar said, it doesn't use a lot for phone quality voice. Like something like this would be too high bandwidth for it, even without the pictures. Yeah.
Oh, just thinking about, I mean, will this get to a price point where it's more democratizing for developing nations?
Yes.
We got places where, where mobile data is just unaffordable, and now
Right.
you can do it.
So T-Mobile was inviting partners to join them. They said, hey, if somebody comes in from another country and they want free roaming in the U.S., we'll charge you as nominal fee as an operator to help us, pay SpaceX back, but it'll be no
And they're looking
cost to your customers.
for reciprocal.
That's probably the way they would do it. Is, hey, we can roam with you, you can roam with us. No money has
Right.
to exchange hands. But if they if they have to, it's going to be a nominal fee if they want to do it one way. And then the other cool thing about that is that you can also use just regular Starlink, just the data dish, to form the backhaul for the cell sites. So rather than just going straight up to the sky with the cell, you can have it come down to a dedicated Starlink terminal and then come out over the regular cell antennas at full bandwidth there. So that way it becomes cheaper to maintain or build out rural proper coverage. So it's twofold right there, which I think is really cool.
But having some data where none exists at all right now.
Exactly.
I mean,
Right.
that's what's going to be like the most immediate difference.
Right. They might not want you to build in a wildlife preserve, but it may be okay for humans to walk there. And then say you get attacked by a bear, and because somebody's not allowed to put a tower there, you can still get your message out, and then they can send the rescue rangers out to get you, rather than it being a terrible outcome. I mean, that's still bad, but rather it being tragic, it can be just really inconvenient.
I wonder, would it still work reverse? Would someone just be able to ping your phone, even if you're incapacitated and can't send the message out? They're just
slow
looking for
bandwidth.
your
Sure.
right. They're just looking for your body.
Yeah, Omar and I wear watches where if we fall, they will actually text our significant others. Hey, he fell and he didn't answer the thing, and what do you want to do about it?
Right.
Here's his location.
He fell and he can't get up.
Right. Yeah. All right, so let's see what Ars Technica pulled out of this presentation on their side. Let's see. The live event, how this would work. So it's going to use Starlink V2. Elon said it's this big, 7 meters long. So not quite as long as he did his hands. It's bigger. It's 7 meters. 7 by 5 meters on the side. So 25 square meters. And satellite passes overhead. The antenna will receive data along with a focus beam passing along the planet surface. So basically like Starlink V1, but bigger and faster and more refined. Initially 2 to 4 megabits, enough for thousands of voice calls or millions of text messages. That's incredible. Connectivity off the grid during emergency situations. Oh, that's another good point. You can use it in places where there is a grid and say the hurricanes knocked out the towers.
Yeah.
And then they already have first responder. Yeah, they already have first responder sims, so they can say, hey, if we're overloaded with voice calls, here's fire, ambulance, police. They get priority on what's left, and then what's left is you pick up the phone and it might work. And everybody else can get their text messages. That's incredible. User cell phone would look first for service from a cell tower, but when it did not detect this, instead of providing user with no bars of service, the phone would search the sky. It would then draw connectivity from the nearest available satellite with software on the satellite communicating to the phone as if it were a virtual tower on the ground. And Elon described that this was no easy feat because the towers, they don't move. You move, but you don't move all that fast, even on a plane. The Starlink dishes, they're moving at quite a clip. They're moving faster than the speed of sound. And so they had to account for, one, the motion, and two, the Doppler shift. So as they come towards you, the signal is kind of shifted, compressed. And as they're going away from you, the signal kind of decompresses a little bit. So to handle that, it took some math.
A lot of math.
Yeah.
The satellites are moving at like 17,000 miles an hour.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
not just the speed of sound, multiple times the speed of sound.
right. I mean, those things are really moving.
Yes. And they have
to communicate with a device that's relatively putting out a very weak signal to be seen from space.
Exactly.
That's amazing feat.
They have to pick up a very quiet signal from your cell phone. Just imagine the signal has to travel 500 miles, and then get caught by a satellite that's traveling at 17,000 miles per hour, get processed, and then get bounced back. The satellite's got to compensate for the Doppler effect of moving so fast. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because you've got the Doppler effect on the ground, but you're moving at what, maybe 100 miles an hour if you're some sort of speed demon. or maybe 700 miles an hour if you're on an airplane and didn't turn off your cell phone like you're supposed to. So the satellites also had to get that to space. But the V2 satellites all have laser links, unlike the initial set. The initial set of satellites don't have it, but the version 1.5s do have the laser links.
By the way, you're not traveling at 700 miles an hour on an airplane. Maybe 400, 500. You're not doing 7. Speed
Yeah,
of
they
sound is
can
like-
do 7, but they don't want to spend.
That's breaking the speed of sound. So speed of
Right.
sound is like 667 miles
Yeah.
an hour, something like that.
Yeah, they can do 500,
So-
700 easy, but they don't, for saving fuel and
Well, at 700, you're doing sonic. You're making sonic booms.
right,
That's the
right,
problem.
and
Right.
those are illegal over land in most places.
Right.
And then there's also the fact that a lot of the commercial carrier structures aren't built for handling supersonic because
They are developing a new supersonic jet though, so it's
they
coming
are.
soon.
They are.
They are. They are. They want to bring that Concorde back.
Right.
I don't think that Concorde money's coming back though, because that was a very specialized route and or set of routes, because you had Britain, Canada, and France to New York, right? And I guess if it can go Pacific and they can do that would make some money. But by the time they get that going, Starship Passenger will be running, and you can get on their bird for an hour, or you can get on Elon's bird for 15 minutes. Which one are you going to pick at the same price? Or actually, Starship will be cheaper because Starship is priced with the regular commercial carriers, not supersonic
Well,
ones.
that's the idea, but we'll see. That remains to be seen.
It's still a little ways out. It's got to get man rated. It's got to
We'll
we
see.
got to make sure that they don't crash when they land, because we haven't actually seen one of these things land. Well, we've seen 2 prototypes land safely now. One of them landed safely and then blew up.
Let them get a successful orbit flight first, and then
Right.
we'll see what happens. So,
But tying that back in, that first orbit flight, if this, that might be putting this up there. V2.
oh, it's not going to be empty.
No, it won't be empty. That'd be a waste. Link has 14 commercial contracts with mobile network operators covering 35 countries, Miller said. The company expects to receive a license from the US FCC before the end of the year to begin selling commercial services in those
Oh.
countries.
You know what,
This
Casey?
is- Yeah?
They are going to be launching these V2 satellites.
Oh, for sure.
Because Elon said that those V2 satellites are huge
Yeah.
because of the signal that they have to be able to try to get from the ground. So because of the size of these things, they're really not built for Falcon. So they're actually built for Starship. So yes, Starship's inaugural orbital flight will probably be to launch these.
Yeah, and Elon did mention that if for some reason they had troubles with Starship, because Starship is the only thing that can handle the V2 launch, they will have these sort of pseudo V2 birds out there that they can't quite do everything, but they have all the tech. They're not necessarily building more than a couple test versions of these, but that's not their plan. Their plan is for Starship to work. So don't expect to see Falcon 9 with their pseudo G2s on it. So, on that same note, with this same topic, Elon says Starlink V2 launching next year will transmit direct to mobile phones, limiting dead zones worldwide. John at Tesla Silicon Valley says that will Tesla be getting the service as well with premium connectivity? Elon says yes.
Sounds like the cars are going to be switching to T-Mobile.
I'm wondering if they're gonna, they've got the capability. So will they switch to T-Mobile, or are they just gonna just use that spectrum on their own, straight for Tesla, as part of the agreement?
I don't know.
It would make more
That's a good
sense just to switch to T-Mobile, because then they don't got to worry about any sort of like extra with it. Just there it is. Because again, just using regular cellular hardware, so it'd be a little weird to kind of merge your T-Mobile and your AT&T together. Just get on T-Mobile.
Right.
So then Dave, remember Dave was the one who was using Starlink on the go before Elon thanked him by adding a $25 a month fee to his service. Will Tesla cars get this feature too in the future to connect directly to Starlink satellites for emergency calls and texts? Elon says yes. And I'm glad that he didn't answer Dave first because, man, yes, only $25 extra a month. That's a good question. Epic, how long before Teslas are able to recognize loss of consciousness, heart attacks, call the hospital, and drive there themselves to save the driver's life? I'm curious what people answer him with because they've got cameras on all the new ones. Is Tesla planning on supporting 5G with T-Mobile's network for more edge computing with autopilot in the future? It's another good question. All right, so I'll open these up and we'll see what becomes of them. Starlink Gen 2 satellites are so big. So big. All right, so it said he had a bunch of replies, but I don't see any replies when I click in on this. Maybe they're all bots.
I wonder how that is gonna. Well, you know what? They do have the cameras on the inside, so they could detect if somebody's, fell asleep or lost consciousness.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, you can visually see that. I mean, you won't visually know exactly what's wrong with the person if they're just really
something's
tired
wrong.
and went to sleep, or
Yeah.
if they actually had a heart attack. It'd be really hard to tell the difference, just based off the camera. But in either case, they could be programmed to say, okay, well, this person isn't responding. I'm going to reroute to the nearest hospital. Don't know why this person's not responding, but that's where they're going.
Exactly. So moving on from SpaceX and Tesla to just Tesla, Tesla sent a cease and desist letter to billionaire running a smear campaign.
Oh,
so
It's about time. They should have did that.
This one.
So somebody pointed out that the timing was convenient, that they waited until after the split before doing this. That could have had something to do with it.
That could have something to do with it. Maybe they didn't want to call more attention to it before the split.
Right. All right. So earlier you guys asked me what I thought of Dan, and I told you what I thought of Dan O'Dowd, and I told you how I really think. I didn't really hold much back.
Tell us how you really feel, Kacey.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Tell us how you really feel.
So let's see here. Under the protection of political ads, because he's technically running for office. Technically, he's only doing it so that he can get the discount on ads that politicians have. Let's see. So the next day, Electric posted a report on major holes in the ad. It wasn't just them, but because we did it here, we talked about it. But Electric and several others picked him to pieces and mentioned his warning alert, blah blah blah, and so he's. I really wish they took a picture of this instead of giving the man. Oh, it is a picture. I was gonna say instead of giving the man. Oh no, it's not a picture. Instead of giving the man extra clicks and views. Anyway,
well, what makes me angry is the fact that YouTube took down the videos that others have done, proving that the car doesn't do what he said it does in the video.
Right, and they weren't using human babies; they were using mannequins, just like he did. So they can't stay, but he can. So what tells me happened is that he and his associates were filing takedown requests rather than,
or even more nefariously, YouTube themselves.
I don't
have
see
a
that
conflict
because
of interest, because remember, YouTube is owned by the parent company Alphabet, who also owns Waymo.
Right, but is Waymo
they
using this guy's? Is Waymo using this?
No, Waymo's not using this guy's
garbage.
stuff, but
And don't forget
Waymo
that
is a direct competitor to FSD. With Tesla,
right, but if they're not using his stuff, if they're not using his stuff, he doesn't want them on the road either.
Correct, but it doesn't matter because the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
For now, but also don't forget
who's actually developing at a much faster pace than anybody else, and who has the most amount of miles driven, autonomously, and all the AI capabilities. They may be in fear of the Tesla takeover, and so
don't forget that Elon is friends with the owner of Google.
Or so he says.
They were going to buy him out, and then something didn't happen. Thankfully.
Yeah, because
Because our cars,
if
our cars
anybody
would
else
have
would have
8.
bought, if anybody else would have bought out Tesla, there's no way they'd be innovating at the
Yeah.
speed that they're innovating at. So
Well, there's that, and if it was Google, we'd have eight different chat apps, and then they give up on it halfway
and
through.
they all canceled and
So anyway, so this guy, he lied, and then Fred responded. But so his lie was in response to Elon saying that the Guardian swallows the scam hook, line, and sinker, and so then he got into his standing on his soapbox crap, and then Fred says, "Oh, really? Dan, you need to stop claiming that I fabricated the story and answer the questions instead. I gave you and your PR team many opportunities. Let's see." When you do have a PR team, you should probably use it, because when you don't have a PR team, people complain you don't have one. Many opportunities to answer really simple questions both prior and after the article was released, so he had plenty of chances. Why aren't you answering them? If you or someone on your team can explain in detail, he gave us a quote or a screenshot of his direct message. If you or someone on the team can explain in detail the following, I'll be happy to include it in the article. 1. Why the footage in the ad clearly shows the driver attempting but failing to activate FSD beta. Yeah, because if you were able to get into FSD beta, you should know how to turn it on. It only took you months of driving smooth.
right.
2. Why the footage was released separately but not in the ad shows that FSD is being activated, but is inconsistent with the results, meaning it prompted an alert to take control ahead of the impact, and it hit the dummy at 17 miles per hour, while you claim that 3 attempts resulted in the hits at 24, 27, and 25 miles per hour. So basically, Fred is calling this guy a liar to his face, which I am here for, because it's clear. Lastly, there's a constant system alert appearing on the screen, but your video quality is too low to read it, which was on purpose. Please release better footage that show what this alert is about, since it could explain a lot. Also, thanks. Dan, he even called me or anyone answering this questioning his test a moron. So he's called us all morons, basically. Those who say I lied about the test and didn't rerun them because they know the results would be the same. So if you knew the results would be the same, then how about you show us what you had, buddy? Liar.
And then he tried to say that Colmar's blog agreed, but then he turned around and said, "Wait a minute, we attempted to recreate this test and found that you lied. So how does
Right.
he agree if he just called you out for being a liar?"
Oh, and then after he tried to use Holmars on his side, he pulled a Aaron Greenspan and then tried to say that Holmars is a paid Elon shill, leading the harpies against me.
Paid as in what? Being an investor, so maybe he made money off of the stock? Is that how he's being paid? Because I mean,
well, Mr. Greenspan lost his lawsuit and had to pay back the fees for Holmars's lawyers.
Good.
Yeah. So this guy might end up. This guy might end up the same way. The driver swore an affidavit that he never touched the pedal, so people never lied before. Because the car is clearly telling in the video that he's touching the pedals, even at 240p.
The driver being
video.
paid by you to do this thing.
Yes.
You probably paid him to just sign off on whatever.
Right.
He probably didn't even read it and just said, "Yeah, I'll sign off on whatever you say because you're paying me."
That, or he didn't get his money until he signed off on it, and so then he kind of did it.
Signed off on it. Give me my money. Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, we triple checked the FSD was engaged, and even Holmars agrees. Anyone who says otherwise is a moron. Yeah, Holmars agrees that it was on because it was, but that doesn't mean that he agrees that there was no foot on the pedal. Because if you push the pedal, the car says will not brake, and then it does not brake. It just runs into whatever is in front of you. It will try and lessen it. It will try and steer, but it will. If you keep your foot on it, it will hit whatever it is after telling you that I'm going to hit whatever it is. In his quote, while he's trying to say that Holmars agrees, his quote is calling Dan a liar. We attempted to recreate this test and found that Dan lied. He set up his fraudulent test to get the results he wanted. How do you say he's agreeing with you when he's sitting there calling you a liar?
Clearly calling you a liar in the quote that you just quoted yourself. Like what?
think he's got a little defect, personality interpersonality, like the previous president does. So anybody who says my name is saying good things about me. Before I get into too much of those politics, anyway, Dan, your willingness to call anyone pointing inconsistencies with your FSD beta test a moron is only equal to your unwillingness to answer questions about these inconsistencies. Despite you cowardly insulting me online, I'm still waiting to talk to you about your test. Now, Fred can get certainly combative, but also he can also do some pretty good journalistic processes as well. So we learned that Tesla sent a cease and desist letter to the Dawn Project and Dan O'Dowd personally. In the letter, the senior director and deputy counsel at Tesla eviscerates O'Dowd for disseminating defamatory information to the public regarding the capabilities of Tesla's full self-driving technology. Also, this one came up. There was a rumor that this guy actually left the company, and the Tesla Twitter actually said this is false. And then now we can see if he was gone, he wouldn't be able to write this letter, would he? So he says, I'm sorry, I misgendered her. I apologize. I'm so used to the people leaving Tesla being dudes. That was all my fault. I do apologize. She asked him to take down the video and pull the ads based on it, which are running nationally, along with a few other things. Immediately, cease and desist dissemination of all defamatory advertisements. Immediately remove the videos under the caption test track from the Dawn Project website and any website where you and the Dawn Project have disseminated a copy. Issue a public retraction of all defamatory and false claims within 24 hours of receipt of this correspondence. Oh man, he is about to waste all his money. Tesla lawyers like Microsoft lawyers. Issue a public retraction of all defamatory and false claims within 24 hours of receipt of this correspondence. Disclose all sources of funding and for the purported tests in the commercial, including whether any campaign fund. Oh wow, they're gonna get him on campaign fraud. Campaign funds were used, and whether they were funded by Tesla's competitors.
Oh,
take that, Intel, Mobileye. So my theory was always that he was doing this on his own because they would be stupid to help him with this because it would get found out. If they were that stupid, they're about to get found out.
Mess around and find out. Okay.
Yes. The other bit of it is like, he only makes the stuff that they run on top of. He doesn't actually make any of the self-driving stuff. So he has really put himself out there for who knows what.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
It will be. Anders points out that the cones are positioned so the Tesla does not steer away.
Right. It has no room to steer away.
Exactly. Because it considers anything beyond the cones to be undrivable space. And, it could be a cliff, it could be a construction machine, it could be a human. So the shortcut is just don't mess with cones if you fit. But again, if it fits, that means it can only go straight. Right. Let's see. Including whether they're paid by Tesla competitors. Disclose all recognized regulatory agencies that endorsed your testing methodology and results. Ooh. Nobody. Because he didn't like if you did the test the way that we see in the video, it would completely disagree with everything we saw from the insurance testers and NHTSA and everybody else worldwide who's tested autopilot and found it to be either adequate, good, or really good, depending on what their levels are. The letter also includes vague threats of legal action if he chooses not to comply. O'Dowd already confirmed he doesn't plan to comply. Well, seems that you are just as dumb as some of the Tesla short sellers.
He may be one.
The long-term shorts? Oh, he could be. He probably is. I think he mentioned that he owned a Tesla. Because remember, the Tesla he owned ran AP1, which ran on Mobileye, which ran on his system. And now it doesn't. Because as soon as they went NVIDIA and in-house, that's when all of this mess started, because he felt that he was losing money, because he was. But what's even more humorous, though, is that once Tesla has this cracked and they get their operating permit, it's going to be cheaper and faster just to license it from Tesla than it will be to continue working with people who use his product to try and make this thing work. Except for if they're already almost there, like Google and a couple of the other close contenders like Cruise Automotive and them. Everybody else is just going to just buy it because they're used to buying modules and installing them in their cars anyway. They install components, they build engines, they build bodies, they install components. They don't make anything themselves. We don't make a steering wheel, we don't make the dash, we don't make the chair, stuff like that.
Oh, they're definitely going to be buying the stuff from Tesla.
Yeah, even if Tesla has to make a Denso or a what's the other one called? What's the one for GM called? AC Delco. Just to give them that arm's length. In the letter, Tesla references our report in the ad. In contrast, your testing methodology already received swift and public rebukes from multiple sources. For example, the commercial you released claims that tests were performed with Tesla's FSD beta engaged, but Electrek, oh wow, called them out by name, reported that your own videos clearly show that the FSD beta was not engaged at times. Similarly, Electrek reports that the Dawn Project manipulated its videos after being confronted with the defamatory nature of its advertisement. Despite your clear knowledge of the misleading nature of the advertisements, you continue to promote and disseminate these advertisements on multiple mediums. Tesla CEO also retweeted our article, even though he still technically blocks both myself and the Electrek account on Twitter. Yeah, you keep punching him, so he doesn't have to take that. It's better for his mental state, just not to read when you decide you're going to punch down on him. That's what I'm saying. Fred is kind of like this with Elon, which, to be fair, sometimes they've earned, but also. If somebody was always, not always, but frequently punching at me when I open my box, I would not want to see their stuff either. So I understand. I appreciate the retweet, Elon, but I and Electrek are still blocked for some reason. How about unblocking? Again, if it's for his mental health, I completely support him blocking them. Clearly, other people in the company can read it for him, which is fine. The Guardian allows scam video swallows scam video hook, line, and sinker. So Elon's retweeting that, and that's why Dan started his tweet above. And as Anders pointed out, look at these cones. There's nowhere for the car to maneuver. So yes, it's going to go straight or stop. And if your foot is on the pedal, car will not brake. Then the only place it can go is straight. It can't try to steer around with your foot on the pedal like it does for me. When my foot's on the pedal and I tell it to keep going to an obstacle that goes around. The obstacle is usually somebody halfway in my lane stopped for no reason. So Musk announced earlier that the hardcore litigation department, we talked about this a few weeks ago, with the goal of fighting back against people attacking the company. And we've seen previews of how they plan to do this in China, where when somebody's lying on them in China, they don't just sit down and take it. Usually it ends up with the person just apologizing publicly to them and paying a fee. Not a large fee, but still a significant fee, something that they'll notice, a couple of weeks of wages. You can read the full cease and desist letter here. So let's copy this link, give it to you guys. Let's preview a couple of these, see how they go. There's a reason why Dan O'Dowd would produce a staged fake video like this to slander Tesla. His company, Green Hill Software, is a direct competitor and even ran for office solely for attacking Tesla. There were two things, attacking Tesla, and there was one other thing, I forget what it was. Those are the two things that he's planning to do. Mr. Orpheus says, who makes videos in 480p anymore? That resolution 20 years ago, clearly it's to obfuscate the details on the screen. Dan, scam artist. It's actually worse than 480p. I think it was like 320 or 240p. So it was intentionally degraded.
And by default, I mean, even your cell phone's camera records.
That's only because he shot it on an Android and shared it with his iPhone friends.
For text.
He sent it over
happens to me all the time. They keep kicking me out of the text groups.
Well, you see, Google actually tried to put Apple on blast for not joining up on that situation. All right, so this person's complaining about the resolution of the cameras. We talked about this last week when the new Tesla AI head was showing us why the cameras were more than sufficient and what they can do with the overlapping cameras. And where I pointed out that processing 4K of stuff while you're trying to drive down the road might not actually be all that you think it is. It's actually I think it was 8 times more work than a 1080p, which they don't even have a 1080p camera. Yeah, so let's roll on. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. What have I done? All right, so why is this here? I've got a Facebook link from a group I don't normally use for news. So what have I picked? Ah, cool. Future infrastructure for a better future. California is about to launch an experiment to cover aqueducts with solar panels. A plan that, if scaled up, might save billions of gallons of otherwise evaporated water while powering millions of homes. So let's bring the article up. Reuters. California to cover canal with solar panels and experiment to fight drought. So we've reported on this in other countries where they cover up lakes or rivers to one, help make sure they don't lose their water to evaporation, and two, also that there's less chance for those waters to grow microbes like bacteria and algae and fungus and stuff. And three, they make electricity from it, which this world runs on electricity. So California is trying a $20 million project. It's going to break ground in 2 locations, 500-foot span or 152 meters along a curved portion of the canal in the town of Hickman, about 100 miles inland from San Francisco. The other is a mile-long straightaway nearby Sirius. So it sounds like they just want to see where it works best, and if it works in curves or if it works in straights. I think that the curves will be harder if they're a natural curve because of erosion. But if it's a concrete curve, then I think that will work probably really well. But better than just thinking about it, why not test it out and see? And that curve looks very man-made to me, so you don't have to worry about it wandering like the Mississippi. All right. This is what we were saying. Every time we saw it elsewhere, like, when are they going to bring that home? Well, they
It's
brought
gonna
it
be
home.
interesting. I mean, and they do need to do something to combat the drought and conserve water, because
Yes.
that's a huge problem that they have out there. Is water.
And
Yes, it is.
California is one of the largest consumers of the Colorado River system there.
Yep, it's a problem for Southern Nevada. It's a problem for California.
Yep.
So
I like Vegas' solution. They actually are so good at treating their wastewater that they put in so much treated wastewater back into the system that they can actually claim that they used even less than they did, because after it went through their uses and their people, it comes out just as clean as river water. So they just dump it back in there, and it doesn't count because they didn't use it technically. I mean,
That's a great idea.
they borrowed it. We gave it back.
right. We use it, we put it back. It's the same thing we do on spacecraft. We recycle all the water we can, coming from all the waste and all the hydrogen reactions and stuff. We use it all because water's heavy, and because it's heavy, it's expensive in space anyway. California bans new gas-powered vehicles by 2035, supported heartily by Tesla. So I was trying to track this as it was going. It was a whirlwind to try and track it, because it was a proposal. People were fighting it, and then all of a sudden it was true. And then let me see if I before I give it up. Okay, so we'll go on that part next. So let's just start with California. So no new gas cars or trucks, personal vehicles after 2035, and I say personal vehicles, I mean small trucks. So like pickup trucks. You tell us about this one, Dawood.
So first of all, it's not going to work because there's brownouts. There's not enough electricity here. They're going to force us all into electric cars. They want to control us.
Not from
It's
your
just
uncle on Facebook. Tell us the real
I'm
story.
sorry. I thought you wanted me to be a Facebook troll. No. I mean, that's what I. It's
That's what you
constant
hear.
with that. But no, this is amazing. I heard when the governor first announced it a year ago, and I was like, it's not going to happen. I hope it happens, but it's not going to happen. And now the California Air Resources Board actually voted to put it into place.
Yeah.
I haven't read enough articles about it because it's still so early on
Yes.
to know whether or not, because we have a what do you call it, where the citizens can directly vote for something.
Oh, they
I
can
can't
recall
think
it.
yeah, like a I can't think it'll come back to me later. But when you go into the grocery store, somebody's standing outside with a, can you please sign this petition?
Yes. Yes.
And they can put it directly on the ballot. So I
We
wonder
want
if
to
that's
fire the
something
governor.
right. Recalls, things like that.
Yeah.
Direct proposition, something like that. But so I
Like
wonder if
direct-
that's going to be something that could that could overturn it. But other than that, I think this is the best thing. It has to
Absolutely.
happen
Yeah.
because it's California being the largest vehicle market in the country
world.
is right in the world, sending the signal to the car companies that you have to do this.
Yes.
If you're going to sell cars, they have to be non-gas. I guess they could be hydrogen.
And what makes this a
Non-emitting,
big
yeah.
deal is it's not just California. So there's
Right.
multiple other states that pretty much follow California and do the same thing they do. So
Right.
this is
Including
gonna
new ones this year.
so this is going
Right.
to not only have that effect in California, but those other states as well. And because it's soaking up such a humongous slice of the actual car market in the US, that's going to force all the manufacturers to say, well, this is a huge slice of our business, so we have to do this. They don't have no
Yeah.
choice. They're
Right.
going to have to go electric. There's no two ways about it.
Right.
Right. But it forces those questions that need to be answered, or the infrastructure to be built. That's going to have to be forced to be built. Everything. This forces the steps to happen. Everything we talk about, this could happen in the future. The steps needs to have happened, 20 years ago, but it's happening now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this is forcing that to happen, and it can.
Yeah. So several automakers, including Tesla and Ford, came to CARB and said, "Hey, can you remove gas-powered vehicles by 2030?" So they actually wanted 5 years sooner. Obviously, Tesla doesn't care, but I'm surprised to see Ford was cool with that, considering what Ford makes. Unless Ford was thinking pickup trucks wouldn't count, because
Right.
Ford doesn't make any cars anymore, except the Mustang.
Not our concern.
Right.
So yeah, I need to look close. I mean, what cars are going to be what's going to be the cutoff for trucks?
It's going to roll in phases. So the ban on gas-powered vehicles, so it's not going to be all at once. By 2026, 35% of all new cars need to be hydrogen or battery. The percentage will increase to 51% and 68% by 2028 and 2030. Heavy-duty vehicles will go zero emission by 2045. So
there we go.
Including your F450, F550, all your big old trucks, they're going to be electric too. Well,
I've seen
don't
350s.
Yeah, they don't. Well, the 450 is real. Yeah, it turns better than the 350. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't even know. So, but now I guess this will be, now they're going to make 650s and 750s. That's going to be.
Those are real too. And
however big they need to make it to get around this law is what they'll make.
Well, Tesla will just point at the Tesla Semi and be like, "Come on, Ford." So this is pretty cool, and I'm glad to see it. Amazingly, no comments. You Canadians don't care about this? All right, so
they're in the wrong place. Go to Facebook. The comments are definitely there.
Oh, for sure. So I've got this article. I couldn't get a link to it. So let's see. Sounds like old news. They got some links to the PDF resolution. So this is before it was finished. Even Toyota finally backed down from its lawsuit against the Clean Air Act. Really, Toyota? Okay. We got some news about Toyota later in the show. 20% of cars can still be plug-in hybrids by 2035. Somebody said, why? 35% of sales must be hydrogen or EV by 2026. Yeah, we talked about that. This guy calls California Little Norway. I don't know. I'd call it Little Norway It's bigger than Norway.
A little bigger than Norway.
Maybe it means the Bay Area. I mean,
Oh,
I
maybe,
literally, I
maybe
dropped
that
my
would
kids
be
off, dropped my kids off for school today, and literally there was a Tesla um, traffic jam in the parking lot.
nice.
It's just,
Uh,
I
there are-
couldn't back up because there's a Tesla behind me, and that Tesla couldn't move because there's another Tesla trying to get out.
oh my goodness. So the guy then points out that 10.7% of the market share of overall sales is the Tesla Model Y, best-selling vehicle first half of the year. He rants on that although the supply chain issues can distort the EV adoption picture quite a bit, I'd bet most institutions underestimate how fast you can jump from 15 to 50% adoption with the clearly superior technology. And this is coming from a car place, isn't it? Combined with current tailwinds. Don't listen to me, but I'll say the first targets will be reached at least 2 years before the phase out in planned states. Yeah, we saw that with Norway. We saw that with everyone's doing this. This got a closer date. They're already almost there. As a side note, LAX plans to reach 1,300 mostly level 2 chargers by the end of the year. We talked about that last week. With 832 already in operation. I've got a link to that.
That's
You can
cool.
reserve a spot in advance with a fee of $2.45 a kilowatt hour. Ouch, that's kind of high. How much you guys pay for electricity there?
About 45 cents per kilowatt hour. So
okay.
peak
That's not
for
terrible.
me, well, I'm time of use, but my super peak is 55 cents.
Woo!
Ooh.
It's pretty stinking high. Yeah.
All right,
I don't pay that. I have solar.
this place that I'm about to bring up on screen, they call themselves news. Their TV channel does not qualify as news. They call themselves entertainment when regulators ask. And I'm not talking about Microsoft. I'm talking about who Microsoft linked to. Oh wait, no, I picked a different link. Maybe that one's coming. Okay, so California became the first. That 17 other states have followed California's lead and adopted the tailpipe emission standards, which are stricter than the government. I wonder if they redirected, I wonder if they can redirect who it actually went to. Because it was a Fox News article when I put it in the notes. Let me go to the next one down and see if this is the one. Yeah. Sorry, no, I thought it was this one. So, like I said, I've been following it all week, so this has been interesting.
Ballot propositions is the word I was thinking of earlier.
Proposition 12. All right, so yeah, this one is coming from Fox Business, and they didn't like it. I'm in Virginia. That's why it was directed at me. So the California gas ban will apply to Virginia too, due to 2021 law. And then they got our little mini Trump here. He's saying that, let's see what his quote was. They issued the rule, held the final ruling this week. All cars sold after 2035 must be electric. Virginia will follow due to a 2021 law signed by Ralph Northam that tied Virginia to the Golden State's emissions regulations. Okay, but he didn't just say no. This was voted on by both houses of the legislature and then signed by the governor. They did it legally and correctly. But here's the quote from our supplicant. He says, in 2021, Governor Northam and the far left controlled General Assembly signed a law that binds Virginia to California's emission regulations, which, among other things, bans the sale of gas-powered cars in Virginia by 2035. A spokesperson for Virginia Attorney General Jason Miari's office said in a statement to Fox 5 DC. The Town Journal is hopeful that the General Assembly can repeal this law and discontinues any trend that makes Virginia more like California. Well, we got all these people in all these big cities, so we're going to be more like California no matter what. Unelected California bureaucrats should not be dictating the will of Virginians. That's why we voted on it.
The Virginians voted for that.
Right.
The Virginians shouldn't be able to vote. They should just do what we say.
January 6th, anyone? Okay.
I was there. I was here for that mess. I was not in the thing.
I need that article. I have a cousin of mine who's in near Virginia Beach, and he's a big gas head. I mean, he's got the new Corvette with the C6.
Yeah.
Well,
you can continue to buy and sell used cars all you want. It's no new cars. So you want the Fox article, or you want the one that we just talked about?
The one we just talked about. 'Cause I didn't know Virginia was actually following carbs.
Yeah. So Virginia, cool. I think Delaware, and one of them southwestern states like Nevada or somebody just joined up.
There's a few. I know. Yeah, I know. Everybody out here on the west is.
So
I didn't know
Connecticut,
they
I
would.
think New Jersey, there's certain other states that are following as well that have already been, they've been doing it for years.
Yep.
Right.
But I didn't know that applied to us at first because there's certain things that carb does that don't actually affect us yet, like whatever level we're on. But apparently this one was at the highest level, and so we also are banning gas cars here in Virginia and Delaware and all the other new states that joined up on California standards this year. That's pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah. Electrify all the
All right.
things.
All the things. This will bring a whole. I used to watch what do you call it? The Price is Right. You remember when he'd give away a car?
$1, Bob.
He described the car, and at the end, he'd always say that it has California emissions.
Oh, okay.
And, and I had no idea. First, I thought it meant California admissions. I was like, do you have a special plate to get into California? But now, then I said, oh, emissions, duh.
Right.
But now all the cars will have California emissions.
Well, a good chunk of them. I remember when I was working.
Remember when California was doing the ban on small engines,
Yeah.
gas engines? So, like, for example, lawn equipment and stuff like that, those small type of engines, no longer able to sell gas versions of those in California.
Yeah, the two strokes.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't remember the timeline on that ban, but I think that ban should be coming soon.
Yeah, this should be real soon.
It should be. Yeah.
Like,
more and more of the.
I think it's like 2025 or something like that.
Yeah.
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 But those things are terrible. I mean,
it's
each
earlier than the passenger vehicle ban.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because each two-stroke engine, like running a leaf blower for 15 minutes, is worse than driving one of the worst Camrys around. Well, 12 of the worst Camrys around, or 36 Camrys, depending on which metric we're using. They measure it in Camrys for whatever reason, because apparently we can't measure stuff with numbers in America. We have to compare them to something else. So 15 minutes of leaf blowing with a two-stroke is the equivalent of, let's go with the 36 one. 36 Camrys for 12 hours.
I think that's such a problem because people don't look at driving a Camry as a bad thing. So,
they don't, no.
But I guess if you tell them a number of kilograms of carbon is released, what the heck does that mean?
You can't see it. How do I measure this? So speaking of Camrys,
nice segue.
Yes. So earlier when we were talking about the Toyota not continuing to fight this 2035 deal, Toyota exec says U.S.'s 50% goal for 2030 is a long shot due to lack of customer demand. For your stuff.
So
first of all, keep the wheels on. That creates demand.
There's clearly demand for electric vehicles, just maybe not Toyotas, but there's clearly a demand for electric vehicles.
Exactly.
I think a bigger problem they're going to have is meeting the demands for the number of vehicles necessary.
Yeah, especially Toyota, because they started so late and they don't have, like, unless they can make their own solid state batteries, they're coming from behind and they'll have to buy their spots in to get enough production of batteries for enough Toyotas to go that way.
So which one of the big legacy big name automakers is going to fail first? It could be Toyota. Somebody's going to fail, and when
I thought it would be Dodge.
Somebody's going down. Somebody's going down. They're going to get
Stellantis.
absorbed by another company probably, but somebody's going to fail.
Well, I don't think it'd be Stellantis because remember, in Europe they're already on track.
That's good. That's good. And
yeah,
Chevy's trying.
They're trying.
A Ford, I mean, they're certainly trying also, but
yeah,
they got so much debt. So much debt.
VW's
I mean, Ford blew it. I just thought about maybe that's one of the reasons why he wants to split.
Yes,
Ford Blue will fail, but not Model E.
Exactly. I think they can make that work. Mary Led, she was over on someplace giving an interview, and I didn't watch it because she was showing how they're going to continue to do something by their deadline, and I saw her mouth moving, and the caption under the video said that she did not mention leading anywhere in the speech, and I was like,
oh, she's no longer going to be the leader within.
Well, I didn't listen to it, so I can't say for sure. It was on mute, and
Well, I mean, by 2025, she was supposed to be the leader, right?
Well, allegedly they plan to still be on track, so they could still be on track to lead without her saying the word lead. But
Well, I mean,
we'll see.
I gotta admit, as a parent who has to get a car for his daughter within the next year,
Yeah,
and put my foot in my mouth when I said my daughters will never own a gas car. You'll never pump gas when the price of EVs were dropping at that time.
yeah.
now, now going through the roof.
So you gotta get
Um,
them a used Bolt with a new battery.
the new Bolt is cheaper.
This is true.
That's what I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
This is
the
true.
brand new Bolt with
So
the
that's what I'm-
with the government incentive that kicks in January.
It's cheaper than a used
It's
Bolt.
20 grand, 20 grand for that
You're
thing.
talking
That's
20K.
awesome.
Do
I like it.
Make it happen.
So
Cam.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm looking. So, but it's just like, do I have to hurry up and get one before GM goes out of business? How can they give these cars away at this price?
Well, you got to hurry up and get one.
How
that's
long till they
completely
drive?
sold out for the entire year because they're
Yeah.
gonna have a supply problem with
They
that.
will.
Everybody will. Yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
So how long till they drive?
Oh, my 16-year-old is learning now, so she
Okay.
has her permit, and December I think she'll be road legal.
Yeah, just get one a couple months early. So the next question is: are your daughters going to be like my mom and my aunt, where they got to share a car? Or are they going to get their own?
So yeah, my wife wants to just get her a car. Cars are just so expensive right now, and I know if we wait, at some point this is not sustainable. It's got to come back down. But we can't wait till the third year of college, so
No.
it might take that long.
Right. I would
So
I would get in line and don't order it. Just let your dealer know, hey, I want this for January 2nd, and have it drop whenever it drops, and then just leave it in the driveway and be like, hey, you're gonna get some good grades, right?
that's true. Not to give away too much of my business, but yeah, I don't qualify for the new
Okay,
tax
sure.
credit. So there's that problem, which is why I was pretty
Well,
upset
there's
about that.
Make her buy it, give her the money, and then make it sit in the driveway.
That's an idea.
There you go.
And then you get to teach her how to pay taxes.
Right. We have to remember that California, 300 grand in California doesn't go as far.
I understand.
as other
Oh,
places.
we understand that.
I mean, it's bad enough here, and we're not even that expensive as you guys.
Exactly. So we'll see. I mean, initially, she doesn't need a car. If she wakes her butt up in the morning, she can drop me off at work. I mean, my car's parked from 7:30 to 6:30. It's just
Mhm.
sitting there. It drives me there and sits all day.
I understand.
So
Well,
she wakes up.
that's Elon's point about the
Self-driving.
FSD about
Yeah.
having
just put in
cars
friends
that
and
are fully
family and-
autonomous and that
Yeah.
can you get more use out of the car now because most
Right.
cars sit there all day. They
It just sits.
majority of the time they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Well, if they can autonomously drive, then you can have
Yeah.
the one family car that can serve multiple purposes for everybody in the family. You don't need
Yeah.
multiple cars in a family.
The car just drives me to work, drops me off. Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you back at 5:30.
So back to Toyota. They are skeptical of the Biden administration's 50% plan. Other car makers have said that they could hit 40 to 50% by the end of the decade. Toyota disagrees with them. And Hollis does not believe these goals are realistic. In a recent webinar, the Toyota exec noted that the mass adoption of all electric cars would not develop as fast as EV advocates suggest. Really? Really? The demand is not sufficient. BEVs cost too much, and the infrastructure is not there yet. All right. So, how do you turn on the lights in your restroom, Mr. Hollis? There's infrastructure.
Yeah, correct.
and the demand is not there. Tell that to Rivian, Tesla, GM. Who else is sold out this year?
Literally cannot
Ford.
make these things fast enough. Cannot. I mean,
They can't
people
make
are
enough of them.
Nissan.
scratching the dirt.
Nissan is
trying
sold
to-
out of the Aria. It's not even on sale yet. So people just don't want your vehicles, Mr. Hollis. I'm sorry.
Well, not because they're not selling them, but I mean, if they make them, people will.
I bet you if they
buy
were
those.
available, the people would buy them.
Right?
yeah.
People will buy those too.
The customer is demanding at that level. Yeah, because your customer is dealerships. Your customer isn't the people who drive the cars. The dealerships don't want to spend an extra 15 minutes to 30 minutes teaching people how to use their car on the way out the door after they collect the check. That's
I don't
extra
know what
time they
other
could be selling to
way-
other cars.
I don't know what other way to put.
Oh, their other customer is Southeast Toyota, which just doesn't even, they customize everything as it comes through to their
I
own
don't-
specs.
certainly don't want to talk bad about the general public, but people will buy whatever you tell them to buy.
This is true.
Well,
Simple as
maybe they just don't want to buy the Toyotas because of that recall where the freaking wheels could fall off.
that.
Maybe that's
There's
their
that.
problem because they had to recall all those cars. And
But I
they
think
had to
I think
take
it was
them
worse
off.
than the wheels falling off. Otherwise, they would have fixed it by now. Like they're still like they're paying you to drive a Corolla or whatever, and paying your note while they do it. So I mean, if it was as simple as the wheels falling off, you're like, okay, here's a new axle. We've tested it. It's good to go. Bam, or a new hub or whatever is causing the wheels to fall off. There's got to be something more to it
Gotta be.
because
They know
they've
how
been
to make axles and hubs.
right. They've been doing it for over 100 years, or around 100 years, I should say, not over 100 years. Around 100 years for Toyota. If it was Ford or GM, yeah, they've been doing it for over 100 years.
But is the what's it, the BZE getting busy car?
BZ4X.
Whatever the hell that thing is. Is that a new design? Is that coming from a
It looks like it might
a
be based on
EV
the
design?
RAV4.
That maybe that's what it is. I mean, they're trying to just repurpose a RAV4, and the battery's too heavy. The wheels can't handle it, and they're popping off.
It could be that, but then again, it's as simple as putting in an axle that's strong enough.
Or better yet, rebuild a car from the ground up instead of trying to repurpose.
They may have done that. I just say it
gas
looks like the
vehicle.
RAV4. I am
Right.
totally speculating that it could be based off the RAV4.
I think it's kind of based off of something they've already done because
That's the way they work.
That's what they
They-
do.
They
It's
rarely
stubborn.
do all new.
let's be honest.
Tesla's showing them the only way to do this is from scratch. You've got to do you got to do it from white paper.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Ford's getting away with the truck, which is really
Well,
just a
even
repurposed
Ford
F-150.
Well,
built
the truck-
that
the truck is-
platform
the
from
truck is-
scratch.
exactly,
The
it's-
truck,
Did
they
they?
made it look. They just wanted to.
Well, it's
to
got the same body as the gas car, but the
But the-
platform is completely different underneath. Like, remember, body on
Yeah,
frame.
that
So
platform.
the frame
is
is
completely different.
new. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So they did redo that platform.
Yeah,
from the
and
ground up.
even the body is still reworked. It's just shares a lot with the non, and that's probably best for contractors and stuff. Like because hey, if I've got this length bed Ford, I know it's going to fit in the bed. But then underneath is the all new EV.
Right.
Gus,
And
go ahead.
and a lot of businesses and contractors and stuff, they have extra accessories and extra attachments and things that they put on. And if I know I can use the same stuff from my old Ford truck onto the new Ford truck, I don't have to buy all new stuff.
Right.
It works for them,
Right.
So
Or
it
if you want to buy
makes
10,000,
sense
but
if
you
they-
only have 300 electric trucks and the rest are gas, you can just do a group buy or a pallet buy of your one modification for all your people, and it'll just work. And then you can add a front trunk caddy for the folks that have a front trunk, and everybody else just has an engine there. Gus brings up a point. Toyota leadership sold their 10% stake in Tesla back in 2017 before the stock exploded. That stake is worth greater than 40% of Toyota today. It's not like these guys are actually omniscient about where and when major events in the auto industry will occur. They had a good 40-year run because Detroit was incompetent. Tesla in this tech-driven world is not Detroit of the 70s and 80s. This is true. He says how leaving Korea can beat them. He doesn't understand
my
business
God.
fundamentals. You create demand by creating an amazing and highly desirable product.
Honestly,
No
I
one
think-
knew they needed an
I
iPhone or a Tesla
Yeah.
until they saw it.
Right.
I think South Korea is going to be Toyota in this space. I really do.
I think everybody will.
You can't
The only
there's
reason
no
they'll
way you
survive- Go ahead.
I was just gonna say you can't get into vehicle manufacturing as gas at this point. I mean that's just shit to sell. So everybody who's coming in now comes in as EV, and they've already just jumped over everyone who's
And
been doing this.
remember, Toyota dumped a lot of money, a lot of R&D into fuel
Hydrogen.
cells, the hydrogen fuel cells, because that was going to be the future. That was going to be the way to go.
And they had to pay people
Not so
to
much.
drive Corollas for that because the stations couldn't always fill up.
Vietnam
Oh, they
is gonna
exploded.
beat Toyota.
Vietnam, yes, they will. VinFast, baby. So
Those cars look slick. Those cars look really slick.
they do. So hopefully they get on board. But I think what will stop Toyota from going under, like we predict for one of the big three, is that they have so much money and name recognition that eventually they can get it right. But we'll see what they actually do. So the article on this one is the title for the article was Elon Musk tells early full self-driving Tesla beta testers not to complain. Oh, this was quite a story. Eddie says, I'm thinking of upgrading my Bolt soon. That'll be fun for you. I think you like it.
Well, they,
Did he get his new battery yet?
No, he didn't get his new battery yet. They dropped the ball when they didn't make a Prius EV.
Use Bolt for sale. Eddie's gonna be selling his Bolt.
There you go.
There we go.
And he can probably get the credit.
He can, but he can get that battery faster though. He should be. I'm sure he's in line, but he can get it faster than the dealerships can.
Yeah, but don't forget, he's at the mercy of the dealership, so he might need to pick another dealership to get his battery. All right, so James Locke. Unfortunately, I have to say I'm still having to intervene to correct FSD beta 10.69 in my area. Still lots of work to go. I know this is probably not a popular opinion, but focusing on the Chuck complex left turn is getting ahead of the needs of some of the more basic control issues. And then Elon replies, 10.69 is in limited release for a reason. Please do not ask to be included in early beta releases and then complain. And then it blew up.
Then it got bad.
Yeah. So then this guy who calls himself the self-appointed Pope of Muscanity, as a funny name, he says, sometimes I snap at people when I try my best and they're not appreciating what I do. I understand the context of the fraudulent attacks on FSD. Is that what happened here? He's trying to diffuse it a little bit. Elon, please apologize to James. He cares more about Tesla than 99% of your followers. And Elon's got a lot of weird followers and bots. Then Elon responds. He even puts "I love you both" gif of a cat kissing the camera. Anyway,
That's a cute gif.
It is. Elon says, no, let me make something clear. James contacted me directly to be included in the early beta, which is only 1,000 cars or so, mostly employees. Early beta explicitly has issues or it would be rolled out widely. So publicly criticizing something he has asked for is wrong. Okay, it's not that you minded the criticism for early version that James asked for.
Isn't that the purpose of beta, to get the feedback from what improvements that you can make? Like if you have a beta program, you're testing everything, then you should be able to receive feedback or any criticisms. But at the same time, the way he's complaining isn't really helpful either. He's saying,
especially if it's not supposed to, if this is supposed to be internal, then he should report it internally, and I respect that. Yeah.
Even if he's not reporting it internally, he's not reporting a specific thing, saying, "Hey, it could do better at this. This is something."
So it's not helpful
that I've seen
feedback
where I had to intervene multiple times at this particular thing that it's doing.
Hey, when the sun's in its eyes, it tries to turn right.
Particular thing,
Okay.
Like Chuck's turn.
Yeah, like Chuck's turn. Yeah.
Yeah, like Chuck's turn is a specific thing, right? And he's saying, well, don't focus so much on this specific thing. Can you focus on some of the basic things? Well, what basic things exactly are you referring to?
Just fix it. Just make it better.
Specific and say, hey, can you fix this specific thing that I'm having an issue with? And maybe he doesn't really understand how it works because he's not an engineer. That solving Chuck's turn may actually in of itself solve other things in the process as well. Because if you can solve one of the most complex things, that will solve your issue with a lot of the basic stuff.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, I when I first saw the first two tweets, I was like, "Whoa!" Coming from Elon of all people. But like Omar said, the way it was done was probably could have been better, especially when you ask to get into the I don't have it. A lot of the people I know that have the beta don't have it, and even some of the people who were the safest drivers that didn't take a safety test and still got kicked out for not being a safe driver when they got too many strikes, even they didn't get it. I'm not saying the people who got the strikes didn't get it because that would be stupid to give them it if they can't use it. But the people who didn't get the strikes but also didn't take the test, some of them didn't get it, and they were the safest drivers, right? So. I'm still salty. But even some of them didn't get it. So I understand what Elon's saying, that if I let you in and you're going to put me on blast. What was weird is the way that he said this next thing. So he says, okay, so it's not that you mind the criticism of the very early version, but the public channel used to send the complaint. For the record, I know that James loves Tesla and that he was, through his criticism, trying to help as best he could. Love y'all. Constantly seek criticism. A well thought out critique of what you are doing is as valuable as gold. Elon Musk. I don't think that Elon liked that as his tweet being quoted. Elon says, "I do not doubt that criticism, public or private, is welcome after we go wide beta." So I guess like Elon, Omar was saying, it was criticism, not feedback, like useful actionable feedback. That would be what you want during a closed beta, so that you can do something about it before it spreads. If you just say, "Ah, this sucks," it's like, well, thanks for spitting in my face after I did you a favor.
Right.
So X.X.2 or later releases then in general? Question mark. Good info to know. I have a tweet for this later. Elon answers that, but not answers this guy. John says, "Wow, brah." Lisa says, "We never had an NDA or any directives to show only good things. Nearly 2 years later, is this changing? I'm so confused." These are all before Elon did the further clarifications. These are attached to the first tweet. They're not attached to the thread. Well, showing and telling good and bad helps newbies in the program show that it can alert them to issues, implore hands on wheels, etc. Honesty and sharing helps everyone. So they were all acting under the same reaction that we had at first. It's like, whoa, what? Why would you say such a thing? But then we later on find out that he didn't like the way it was done. Like it was a critique and not a feedback, like useful, actionable feedback. You tweeting something that you promised not 2 years ago, your signed NDA. There's no NDA. There's a difference between, there we go. James gets it too. There's a difference between constructive criticism, the first part, and telling somebody they're not doing the right thing, the second part. Okay, so let's move on to probably more of this, knowing me. Okay, so the second thing I linked was that same one because I knew better that time. I actually linked this tweet. So let's just click on it and see if there's anything hanging off of that made any sense. Can you understand the frustration, right, though? You promise every year, 5 years in a row, that FSC will not need supervision. Every year turns out not to be the case. You have no idea how hard FSD is. Only path to success is hardcore real-world AI, dedicated neural net interface, acceleration, ASICs in the car, multi-billion-dollar neural net training supercluster, and the 10 billion miles of vehicle data. Good luck. My transfer is stuck in the series of tubes, so I can't feed the beast with relevant. So Tesla Tino got a new car. I didn't realize that. So he doesn't have it on his new car. Very much like NHTSA. NHTSA was like, "Hey, bro, can we get a beta?" And that was in January. And then Elon said in August, "Okay, I guess we'll turn it on." All right, so this one's coming out of a private group. So let me see what it is before we share it. All right, so that was about California by 2035. So I don't got to worry about that. This one, I guess I can just click on these because I don't need to copy them until I put them in the view for you guys to see. All right, so that was another copy of that same tweet about the "I don't doubt that," and this one's in a public group, and it's talking about the Australian bank. Here we go. Elon tweet I promised you guys about answering that guy without answering that guy because he answered somebody else or just said it. I don't know what. Let's take a look here. Oh, John put a video saying 10.69 stops at no turn on red along with super complex short left turn. Pretty amazing to see what it can handle. The base startled me. He saw me jump. So he's got a yoke like me.
No turn on red. Look at that.
Right there,
Stop.
no turn on red.
Straight up. Stop. I think you can see that. I thought it was about to turn, and I was
so
gonna.
mine runs red lights right now. Let me clarify that. It doesn't run every red light. It likes to turn right on red if it's in the right-hand lane, which, despite all of the no turn on red signs. So I'm looking forward to this real soon.
So here's going to be an interesting test. It needs
Is this
to
a Model
make
X?
Yes.
go straight.
He's got a
Okay.
red Model X that he wraps in various colors. The last one was black, and now it's blue.
Okay.
Make a left. So we'll see how that works. Again, I'm going to be fully. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be fully
You're
ready
in
to
the
take
right
over.
lane. I don't think you're gonna...
Wow, look at that.
Oh, you're making that left anyway? Oh, okay.
Pretty human-like.
Autopilot.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow,
Look at the
that's very impressive.
That's awesome.
Incredible. So
I'm surprised it did that.
mine wouldn't even attempt that.
That's making me want to go ahead and do what Elon wants and sign up for the monthly, because I ain't getting 15 grand out of me.
Well, if you do it now, you only get 12 grand out of you.
12 grand right now. It didn't
He
go
ain't
up
getting 12
yet.
either.
Well, I
Um,
mean,
So the fact that it's going up in September,
yeah.
this tells me that he's gonna start more wide release of a lot of additional features that's gonna make this drive a lot better. So, well, that being the case, and the fact that the price keeps going up, I actually just yesterday decided to go ahead and bite the bullet, and I bought the EAP.
There you go.
There you
So
go.
so I didn't buy the FSD, but I did buy enhanced autopilot. So now I have so if I do later on decide to upgrade to FSD now, at least the
Half
price
price.
will be half of whatever that new price is. But I doubt that I'm going to be doing that because I'm getting an FSD on the Cybertruck eventually when that comes. But you know, with all the delays of the Cybertruck, it's going to be a lot longer before I get it. So
Yeah.
in the meantime, in between time, at least I'll
Is-
have enhanced with the current one that I have now.
Is your wife taking over the Model Y when you get the Cybertruck, or is she getting a separate vehicle when it's her turn?
Yeah, she's going to take over the Model Y.
So get her FSD, Bo.
I can't just okay.
Wow.
Here's the reason why I can't justify that.
See the way my bank account's looking right now. I get you. I feel it.
No. The reason I can't justify that is my wife really doesn't drive enough because she works from home. She doesn't drive enough, so it doesn't.
All the
doesn't
better.
make a
She
lot
can
of
send the car
sense.
off to go get lunch for you two. You can pick her
Does-
lunch.
no.
She can drop your lunch.
No.
My goodness.
It's,
So when is this thing
no.
going up?
on the first or the fifth.
The fifth.
The fifth. Okay.
I got a week to think about it. So I'm at 6,000 to go to FSD on my Model X.
Yeah.
Right.
6,000 or 7,000.
It's 6 now. Right now, if I
But
press
it's
it
gonna
right
be
now,
7
it's
next, or it's gonna be 8 next.
I think it goes to it'll go to
Probably gonna be
7.5.
next.
7.5.
Oh, 7.5. Yeah, because it'll be in the middle. Yeah.
Right in the middle. So, but I don't know. I still haven't decided how long I'm going to keep this car. I mean, at least another 2 years before I get my Cybertruck.
Yeah. Well, plus if you sell it private party, the new person will see that FSD included, and it will be more valuable to them than any dealership. But if you look at like the Carvanas of the world and all them, they ask you, hey, does it say included or does it say monthly subscription when you do your trade in? Yeah.
Well, the other thing is this. You get FSD on that vehicle, and if they can get it to do what they think that they can get it to do within the next couple years before you're ready to get rid of it anyway, you may not want to get rid of it because it may be more
Exactly.
valuable.
That's
to keep it.
exactly what I'm thinking.
Especially if he keeps raising the price.
So why would I ever get rid of it?
No, but exactly. You may not ever want to get rid of it because you might say, "Well, wait a minute. I'm going
Use this to get all the girls to
but now I'm
school."
just going to send this one out to go make money
Put
for
it on
me."
the network. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay
It's
for my
like, go make
Cybertruck.
money. So that one can go make money while I, just have my Cybertruck for me to drive around in. So at that point, you
that'll
might
be
even wanna get
crazy.
rid of it.
So now
So-
I've got my Model X. I can just jump in the back seat and get on Facebook. And then I got to get in my Cybertruck and drive it. I'm going to be kind of pissed off. I'm going to have to get it on my Cybertruck.
You gotta get it. You gotta get FSD on the Cybertruck, bro.
There you go.
I ordered that with that.
Yeah.
I
Same.
ordered it, but he did not specify a price. He just says, "You want it? Yes or no?"
Right.
Oh, no,
ours
see, I
had
ordered
a
it
price.
before that. I ordered
Yeah.
it when it had a price.
So did you get it when it was lower, or did you get it on the first bump, Omar? Because I think they raised it twice. While the Cybertruck, you could pick it with a price.
Let me see. I think
I
I
don't
got it
know.
while it was cheaper.
I got it. I know it bumped up after I
After you
got
bought it?
it.
Okay, so you were on the first or second bump then, because there was a third
Yeah,
bump,
I
and then
don't
they just got rid of the price.
I don't know if it was
Okay.
the first or second bump, but I got it. When I got it, it was 7K.
Okay, then I definitely got it
So
with a
what did,
price.
how much was it when you got it, Casey?
I was 7, or yeah, it was 7, and then they went up to
Okay.
8, and
So
then
I
they
got it
rid
right
of it.
before it went up to the
Yeah.
8. So
Yeah.
so I
Okay.
got it right before the first
Yeah.
bump up.
So,
That's what
Okay,
it was.
then I'm
I
at
heard it was
7,
going up, so I went
7,
ahead
8.
and did it before it went
Yeah.
up.
7, 8. Do you want it? Do you want the car? And that was it.
I think it
Okay.
was 7, 8, 10.
Oh,
and
they
then
showed
just
it for
do
10
you
too.
want the
Oh wow.
car.
Okay.
I think it did that.
Okay,
I know
then
they
I
didn't
definitely
do
got
it
it
when
at
it
8.
hit 12. I
Okay.
know by the time it hit 12, that was too late.
You got a new outfit
Oh, nice.
and a new bib.
All
It says
right.
"Hi, I'm hungry" on her shirt. Look at that. From mommyluna.com. Hi, I'm hungry. You're so warm. Did you just wake up? Did you have a good nap? All right. So
Let me see.
mine did something the other day. It was going to stop at one of the fake stoplights it always stops at. It slowed way down, so I had my hand over the report button, and then
Oh, that sounds like some throw up.
it was
Spit up.
Mhm.
I remember that sound.
the sound effects help her be more okay with it, but she hates it when I clean her up. So I had my hand over the button, ready to report the false stoplight again. You want some milk?
Well, I'm looking at my order now. I did order full self-driving. I don't think it's showing the price. Dual motors, full self-driving.
There you
Okay, so
go.
you probably ordered after they took the price off and they weren't showing the price for it.
Yeah, because
They
mine
weren't gonna-
says
they
full
weren't gonna
self-driving
change it.
enterprise. She's
Yeah,
mad.
mine,
Okay.
mine had the price on it when I ordered it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was about to report that it was stopping for a stoplight that didn't exist, and yeah, hey sweetie, and then right when my finger was about to make contact, it started to go again. So I was like, whoa, it's not the new version. Where's learning? Yeah, it's learning like this baby here, and so then Elon makes this tweet here that we see on the screen. 10.69.1 will release Monday night. 10.69.2 about a week or so later. This will be the wide beta version. So what I'm hoping is that those of us that got in with the first version of the safety score matriculations, that means me. I get it on Monday, and I get to let you guys know about it without. I never did anyway. I was like, hey, they could do better here. It does this wrong. So hopefully I'm in that group. Otherwise, I'll be there with the rest of you guys about a week or so later. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, Elon. He's getting clever with his 2 weeks. Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
You gotta keep us posted.
Oh, I will. I totally will. You'll see a tweet from me. I mean, I know I'm not on Twitter all that much lately, but or at least in my feed anyway. But you'll see me tweet out, "Hey, this is what happened. It's happening."
Which version is he allowed to complain about?
Yes, Jeremy said that. Which person is James allowed to complain about? And John said, "Oh." James complains again on the public version. Elon kicks him out of the program. Will O'Dowd get it? Laughing clown face, yeah. Wide beta meaning anyone who wants it, irrespective of safety score? ? And Class B FSD beta pilot. Oh, that's how I feel. Class B.
Will NTSA
Not
get
that
it?
kind of wide beta, huh?
Will NTSA get it? Or
NHTSA? Probably
Yeah.
not. Probably not. They're probably in the bulkest of bulk. Just because Elon was being petty with them. If 10.69.420 doesn't come after 10.69.4, I'm going to sell the car. Oh, yes. This guy says MCU1. No, MCU1's not coming to the beta.
No way. No way.
That's right. That's right. He's wishful thinking. Restart. Can we get a restart beta strikes, please? How many beta testers are there now? You mentioned 100,000 and 200,000 in 2 interviews. How many opt out, choosing not to participate anymore, strike out, or otherwise stop providing data? Which cities have the best robotaxi regulations for service first? And he got no answer. I'll be ready to make my I'll be ready. EAP purchase and FSC monthly subscription too. Hey, that sounds like Omar's solution there. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Hopefully, I can get a good safety score in time to be added to the beta. He's got no safety score right now. Oh no, it's the photo showing you how safety scores work. All right, will the semi have a pedestrian speaker? That was something that who asked that last week? Dawood?
I don't think I'd asked that, but that's a good question.
I would say yes. I would say they will.
I still think it depends on how they classify that thing.
Well, think about this. Diesel semi trucks are loud as all get up.
Right. Well, the semi is still pretty loud. It's not as quiet as the cars.
It's not completely silent, no.
Right.
But I mean, just thinking about how the regulators think.
Right. So would it have to be louder than a car? Because the regular trucks
bigger?
are louder than cars. Would it have to be half as loud as a regular truck?
I don't think they care. It's an EV. They wanted to make noise.
They just wanted to make a warbly sound.
Yeah.
They just want a blanket thing. EVs have to make a weird noise.
Right. All right. Tesla has managed to boost capacity utilization at Giga Texas up to 70%, and another new plant, Gigafactory Berlin, is also striving to ramp up to its capacity. Sources noted. Adding that volume production pace at 2 plants is expected to accelerate as component shortages continue to abate. That's coming from DigiTimes, and Alex has been good in the past, so that's why I didn't verify him. So then somebody else used this same reasoning to point out that they thought that Tesla's going to raise prices in September, not just of autopilot, but wow, that's nasty too. Go. You're gonna need a new diaper after this. Anyway, so they were saying that the prices are going to go up on the cars themselves, not just on autopilot in September. Not Alex, but the other person using this reasoning about chip shortages getting eased and Giga Texas and Berlin ramping up. They thought that instead of lowering prices like Elon suggested they might do once they get on track, they suggested that Tesla will raise prices. All right, so we're constantly telling you turn around, don't drown. Let's see, who is this? The Mojave National Preserve on Twitter showed us a Tesla photo of all things. Travelers should not bypass road closures. Do not drive into flooded areas. Turn around, don't drown. One vehicle was recently trapped in a wash on North Kelbaker, and through. And though the occupants were not injured, the vehicle had to be abandoned. Here we see a Model 3.
It looks like,
forming its version of the vehicular Stonehenge. So look how structurally sound that car is. Look, it's stable, it's up in the air. It's not bent. So they got lucky. Yours might not turn out so well.
It looks like if they could get it out of there, it'd still be usable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It might still be totaled by insurance just because they don't want to pay for the clean out, but that then means that somebody could make use of it.
I know that
bro.
I'm sure that battery pack's still usable.
Oh, it definitely is. Look how much of it's not in the water. Flooded self-driving beta 6969. I feel like they could have reversed out of that. They might have the power, but it would definitely rip the car to shreds. The body panels. This person says typical Tesla owner, and this person insulted them further. Impressed you didn't mention anything about Tesla. They're the government. Why would they say the word Tesla? This is still the same administration that took, 6 months to say it?
Hey, the point they were making was about getting trapped.
Yeah,
it wasn't about the type of car. So.
Exactly. They weren't trying to put down Tesla or Tesla drivers. They were saying, hey, turn around, don't drown. That was the important part of the message.
Right.
So Drive Tesla Canada jumped in on the Toyota 50% deal. Let me see if they have a editorial summary on it. I'm curious what the Canadians think of this foolishness. Biden administration, Toyota current. Although these are strong words, we must also consider where Toyota is in the current market. The company is well behind other automakers in North America in terms of launching battery electric vehicles. This is especially true considering their first vehicle in the market, the BZ4X crossover, is dealing with significant issues, namely that the wheels may literally fall off the EV. The problem is so bad that Toyota has given the option for customers to have their vehicles repurchased by Toyota. So far, Toyota's track record when it comes to electrification, we will take these comments with a grain of salt. So they agree with everybody else in Canada. Oh, there's comments on this one. Toyota and Lexus are ridiculously dumb, especially regarding all of those statements from their current CEO regarding the hydrogen idea and all along. They are probably the worst car manufacturer at this moment and definitely the most stupid. Wow, I mean, what do you really think? The company can't adapt or make good cars. Wow. Change is very slow at Toyota. They were the last to offer Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, last before Tesla. Likewise, they kept insisting that BEV is not the future. It's hydrogen BEV or hydrogen. No wonder they were last to change. We replaced one of our Lexus SUVs this year and replaced it with a Tesla Model Y. No doubt the Model Y lacks many of the luxury features and quality of Lexus, including shocking 360 view for parking and turning around sharp corners. Oh, they don't have it either? Not just Tesla? But I wonder.
No. They're saying that the Tesla didn't have it.
Okay, yeah.
Because they replaced their Lexus with a Tesla.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
Tesla needs to hurry up with the bird's eye view.
Complaining about that.
Elon promised a solution to that months ago. I really wanted to reducing my carbon footprint, so another Lexus hybrid was not an option. Hopefully, Lexus can catch up with a great quality EV SUV. I yearn for the non-bumpy soft ride of the Lexus with larger tires. Yeah, so Toyota lost me to Chevy. Who would have thought it? And then I could finally afford a Tesla, so that's where I went, because I didn't buy the Chevy because I wanted the Chevy. I bought a Chevy because I couldn't afford a Tesla.
Well, I originally went from Toyota to
Nissan. Yeah.
And I dumped Nissan for Hyundai.
Wow.
Because I was trying to get the best bang for my buck.
Right.
And then I dumped Hyundai, went back to Nissan.
Yes.
With the Leaf, because I wanted electric.
Exactly.
And at the time, Hyundai didn't have any electrics.
Yes. All right.
And then I've been pretty much Tesla ever since.
Definitely. So I want to thank Marcus and EV Smoke and the racing team for their generous donation. A pear character holding his belly and laughing out loud. Get it out, baby. Get it out. You swallowing your own spit and choking? There you go. Why are you taking the napkin from me? You just throw it away. Are you going to wipe your mouth? Sometimes she wipes her mouth. Sometimes she throws it on the floor. Oh, you're practicing your hand-to-hand. But not like fisticuffs. She's got that. But handing stuff from one hand to the other. Her doctor said that she'd be doing that soon. Here you go.
She's trying to coordinate. She has to,
right.
Like, wait, I have two hands now.
I can do something with each of these.
I can do something. I can do this. Look at that.
Let's see. This one was an interesting take as well. I'm not sure. I didn't vet to see whether they were shorts or bulls. But Drive Tesla Canada quoted them. Building 20 million cars per year will cost Tesla $100 billion in battery metals alone, says this study. I can see that. According to mining.com, the cost of Tesla to produce 20 million cars will be about $100 billion in battery metals alone. The numbers come from a combination of benchmark mineral intelligence and Adamus intelligence data. So I would say take whatever they're saying and then find a way to shave off a couple percentage points of that, because remember that the Tesla is getting into mining directly, and even when they don't mine it themselves, just like their batteries, they're directing their suppliers how to do it. So even though Panasonic's assembling the battery, it's to Tesla spec, and it's not just Panasonic anymore. It's Panasonic, Sanyo, Samsung, LG, select Tesla factories. So there's a reason you'd want them all to be built to the same spec when you've got all these different inputs. If you had one that didn't match your inputs, it would really mess with your programming. Eddie says, I could afford a Tesla, but couldn't justify one without owning a house. No, it wasn't saying that people who buy Chevys can't afford Teslas. It was saying that the reason I bought the Chevy was because I wanted an EV, and I couldn't afford the Tesla. It was the one I was looking at. It's
So-
a smart move to save the money and buy the Chevy instead of getting the crazy version of Tesla that I bought. It makes more financial sense to do that.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Omar.
I'm just going back to this article, and I'm
Yeah.
just trying to figure this. Okay, so if they're making 20 million cars
Right,
and it costs them $100 billion,
right.
and this is just in battery materials, that's about $5,000 per car. Batteries.
Okay.
Right now, the
raw
batteries,
batteries.
that's just raw battery materials. But right
Yeah.
now, the battery packs cost a lot more than $5,000.
29,000
Obviously,
for a Model 3,
right?
according to Tesla.
So, well, that's how much they'll sell it to you for. It's not how much
Right,
they're
right.
paying
That
for
part.
it. So if they're paying, if they're spending 10 grand per car on battery packs, even let's just say it's double the raw material cost.
Okay.
That's not a bad deal for them.
Right. It's a really good deal.
It's not. I mean, that's good.
Yeah. How much would
So-
other people spend? Like the Hummer is going to be more than that if they had that kind of units, because the Hummer is a 200 kilowatt hour battery pack instead of an 80.
Right. So that's going to be a minimal double what they're spending. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
for half the units.
honestly, GM doesn't have the same type of vertical integration. So obviously, Tesla's going to spend less money on their battery packs than everybody else.
Yeah.
But
So it's something to look at. I wouldn't say that this is a bad thing. Like Omar said, this isn't bad. It's pretty solid. But I'm saying look for them to spend even less than that, just because of what they've been doing with their materials advancements, and they're getting into mining themselves. They may have some techniques to lower the cost of those minerals, because if it costs you less to get them out of the ground, then you'd be willing to take the same amount from Tesla than if you had to do them the old school way from somebody else.
yep.
Let's see. And you're like, well, it's just getting rocks out of the ground like we've always been doing. But remember, look at lithium alone. Tesla has a newer, faster way to get the lithium out that doesn't use any water and takes it directly from the clay. That's an advancement, whether you want to admit it or not. SpaceX slashes Starlink prices around the world, some more than 50%. Not here. With the prices of most goods and services increasing these days, SpaceX has slashed the prices of Starlink services around the world, reducing it by more than 50% in some countries. So this is the same philosophy that Tesla has, where they're aiming for a certain profit margin, and after some time, they realize that the currencies have gotten out of sync. They'll either raise or lower your local price, so that you're paying the same adjusted price around the world. So in some places, like Canada, did not see a price reduction. They actually saw a price increase. But other places, where did they see? Of course, these emails have been received from 32 out of the 41 countries where the service is currently offered. So if you're in the States or anywhere in North America, you're paying the same price. But if you're in one of these, almost all the other countries, you're getting a discount on your service. I like it. The price reduction factors in your local market conditions and is meant to reflect parity in purchasing power across our customers. I think that's the most democratizing way to do your pricing, because you're still making a profit, and you're not, just reaming your customers. So I like it.
It's fair.
Yeah. So effective on August 24th, Starlink is reducing your monthly service to £75. Not bad. I'd like £75 better than £110. France also just saw, I believe, a similar style of reduction, but theirs is obviously priced in euros. According to a spreadsheet taken by all the price changes, Reddit user Virtually Nathan says the biggest drop is in Hungary, where it dropped 52% from 35,500 HUFs to 17,000 HUFs.
Wow.
Yeah. All the price drops were in the double digits percentage. All of them, really. I thought there'd be like a 3% in there somewhere. Most of them being more than 30%. The smallest drop was 14.4% in several European countries like Iceland and Austria. Which makes sense, because when you're on the euro, it's a little more stable than some of these other currencies. Only 9 markets did not see a price drop, including Canada, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's the U.S. Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands. That's also the U.S.
Right.
So we're down to 1, 2, 3,
Australia, New
4,
Zealand, Denmark,
5, 6, 7, 8.
Switzerland,
So
Sweden,
8
Luxembourg.
regions did not see a discount. SpaceX is expected to make a big announcement later this afternoon, which was the T-Mobile announcement, which is cool. They won't allow it to reduce its cost in Canada because then it would compete with Bell, Rogers, and Telus, who are protected from outside competition by government decree and the CRTC. Imagine if they had to reduce their prices to a fair rate across the entire nation. Never going to happen. Starlink would be banned before that would ever occur. That's a possibility. I don't. It sounds more conspiracy theorist, but it's. I bet you there's a huge nugget of truth to that because Rogers and Bell, they charge a ton. I'm never envious of what they charge for what they actually give you. Yep. Right, so that's enough Musk for now. Let's go back to Ford. Musk Co. You know them. So Ford has increased the price of the Mustang Mach-E and added new options as the order books have reopened. So I knew that they weren't gonna be like, oh, they're sold out for the year and just be done. Although I do think that they probably shouldn't have closed the order books. But since they still do model years, I don't think they had much of a choice, did they? Because then they'd have to tell you how much it costs before they were ready to give you the price, right? Not just saying, hey, I want it. I'll cancel if it's too high. They need to get you down for a price since they're working through a dealer network. And good news for Ford fans, the automaker will be taking orders again for the Mach-E. The prices have risen by $8,100, according to depending on the configuration. Back in April, they shut it down, citing high demand. And today, August, they're back up. So only 4 months out. The entry-level Mach-E Select starts at $46,895. Oh, good gracious. So still affordable-ish, but it's not as cheap as it used to be. Up $3,000 from earlier this year. The price increase is more than double that for the premium rear-wheel drive vehicle variant, up $6,200 to $54,975. So I noticed that they still qualify for the discount or the rebate.
This is the rear-wheel drive variant.
Right.
Wait, what about the all-wheel drives?
We're getting there. The increases continue to get higher. At $7,900 for the Mach-E GT, which is now $61,995. Still affordable, according to the the tax credit. The biggest increase was $8,100 for the California Route 1, now $63,575, and now only offered in an all-wheel drive configuration. That makes sense. If you're just your performance car, it might as well have been all-wheel drive anyway. You can sneeze on me? Oh man, that was a wet sneeze. Vehicle prices aren't the only prices increased, with shipping charges going up from $200 to $1,300. But that makes sense because you have to charge one fee for all your vehicles nationwide, which doesn't seem fair, but at the same time is incredibly fair. And also, it can lead to some really high shipping prices for these cars. And the extended range battery for premium rear-wheel drive has increased by $2,600. So if you want the basic, if you wanted the premium rear-wheel drive, but you wanted the extra battery capacity is going to cost you $2,600.
$2,600 more than it would have cost you before. This is an increase by that much.
Oh wow, yeah, and then that's on top of the base price of the regular with the regular battery. You still got to pay that increase too, and then you pay the increased by $2,600 for the increased step up. Wow. But you do get 2 new color options. It's color with a U. They are Canadian. I'll forgive it. The Mach-E at the same time is removing 2 paint colors, so you didn't really get a new option. You get 2 different options. The new additions are gray metallic, blue vapor metallic, dark matter gray, and the ice blue sage were discontinued. So our buddy Sergio, I think, has got a unique color now because it's been discontinued. If I got the right one, they only had the one blue, right? They didn't have another blue, did they?
I think it was just the one blue.
Okay. Here's a full breakdown of the changes, and we got a nice little chart. So the biggest change was the GT all-wheel drive with extended range was adjusted $7,900 from before. Oh, thanks for the slobber on my hand. It feels so delicious.
All right, that's it. I'm not getting the Mach-E now.
Yeah. But if you wait to pick it up till January, you get $7,500.
You can't pick it up this year anyway. It was sold out for the year, so you
there's that
January anyway.
Right. Plus, you also get, remember, this is a union car, so you get the additional. So Ford is taking part of your your incentive. It looks like.
Wait, isn't this car built in Mexico?
Yes. Don't ask me how that
It's-
counts.
Okay.
I thought it was North America. As long as it's built in North America, I think
Mhm.
the USMCA all counts.
Yeah, they changed it to include all of North America because they wanted to include Ford's market.
Well, it would look a little
Yeah.
weird if they only included Mary and her leading from behind.
It sucks. I just don't like to see EVs going up in price. I mean,
Right.
I like that steady drumbeat of they're getting cheaper and cheaper, and then now that
You
the
know what?
demand is
It's
so high.
supply chain issues,
Supply chains
and,
Right.
and it's across industry wide.
and
So it's
inflation.
not just EVs, even gas cars, their prices have been going up.
Oh, yeah, gas
It's
prices
supply-
are certainly up. Not
Yep.
as much as EVs, I think, on a percentage basis, but
But I mean, supply constraints are.
Well, don't forget if you got a
supply
Buick,
constraints.
Cadillac, or
remember-
GMC, you also have to pay $1,600 prepaid for OnStar or sign up for a 3-year contract.
But remember, the gas cars, they've already had a lot more of their profit built into it because it's not something new that they're making now that they're trying to figure out. It's not
They
like
just put a new coat of paint and a new skin on it,
it's
Right.
and then they also
You
get their
know.
other bite of the apple with your higher gas prices.
no, I get all of that. It's just that, most buyers these days, you can tell them all of that, but then they still come back. But it's $69,000.
Yes,
It's still $69,000.
but you can get a Bolt for 24 before a tax cut. Yeah,
Yeah,
So you get the 27K Bolt, and you get the tax cuts, and now it's 20K, and then
Well, but
and
you
what's
get the extra
argument
tax.
there?
You get the extra tax cut because it's union made in the U.S.
Mhm.
So again, so what's their argument? You now get it under 20K.
You just told them because you just told somebody who
Get a
drives,
smaller,
who drives
car.
a Jeep to drive a Bolt.
Yeah, there's that.
Tesla
I
is
mean, I'm
likely to-
100% on your side. I want everything to be all EV, but
yes.
I'm just this is what we're pushing. against.
Devil's
This is
advocate.
what-
Yeah, I
right.
get you.
Right.
So Tesla's likely to raise prices again in September as supply chain shortages ease, according to this report. Also coming from Drive Tesla Canada. So Digitimes is saying this. Giga Shanghai is currently running at full volume production after upgrades last month. Additionally, same sources explain that Giga Texas is currently running at 70% capacity, and production should increase both Giga Texas and Berlin coming in the coming months. However, as component suppliers have been able to increase production, they've also been able to negotiate higher prices for their parts from Tesla. That's why I was like, why would Tesla raise the price? Because they had to pay more for radio chips and stuff. This in turn could lead to another price increase from Tesla in September, with observers expecting $1,000 to $2,000 plus the FSC price. Yeah. Well, like we keep saying, if you see something you like from Tesla at a price you can afford, just buy it.
Mhm.
It'll probably be in your favor.
It's only going to go up.
Right. Oh man,
We're
Eddie
talking
said
about full
Eddie
on
has a point. Eddie says every week you guys are talking about price increases at Tesla.
Yeah, but this time it was Ford.
This-
This time it was Ford, though.
Ford and
was
Tesla
Ford.
this time.
Yeah, you're right. Ford and Tesla, because
Eddie does have a point.
But I mean, that's when the industry is trending up right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean it's
Except for
unfortunate.
Chevy.
It's very unfortunate, but this is the reality that we live in. Yes, but
Well,
Chevy's
well,
gonna
well,
be taking it.
Except for 2 Chevys. The rest of the Chevys are going the other way.
True.
And,
I was going to ask
and
earlier, can Chevy make
Chevy's
any?
taking a hit on those.
They're not making any money on that. How sustainable?
No,
is
they're
that?
losing money on that.
But
Right.
it means they can sell more pickup trucks
Right.
without paying Tesla or anybody
Wait,
else.
is that
for the
okay?
money.
That's
Right.
that-
That's the kick. They'll
so
take
now they
the
don't have to
smaller,
buy
they'll take
EV
the
credits
smaller
from Tesla.
loss on the Bolt to not pay more money to their competition for their credits, for the clean energy credits.
Exactly. So I'm not the only one who got this message on their car. I got it because I have the beta. Tesla Vision has been added to more radar-equipped cars with software update 2022.20.9. And before you get your pitchforks, this is only affecting a small amount of cars right now. But let's look at what happened first. So Tesla Vision, basically the car will turn off the radar and just use the cameras for everything. Your vehicle is now running Tesla Vision! ! If you thought it was a good thing, I think it's all right. But if you sat there with a radar car thinking, yeah, I'm good, well, It will rely on camera vision when coupled with neural net processing to deliver certain autopilot and active safety features. Vehicles using Tesla Vision have received top safety ratings, and fleet data shows that it provides overall enhanced safety for our customers. Note that with Tesla Vision, available following distances are set from 2 to 7, and the auto steer's top speed is now 85 miles per hour. Update. One of our readers in California confirmed with us that 2020 Model Y Performance received the update and is now running Tesla Vision. So the 2020 Model Y Performance still had the radar. And they go on to point out that Tesla Fi was showing 18 installs, and as of yesterday, and just 4 more today at the time of the article writing. And Tesla Scope was showing just 7 cars. 1 Model S and 6 Model Ys. Bless you. Thanks for the spray. So a lot of people were freaking out about what happens when they lose their radar, and the only thing that the car doesn't do on radar that it or off radar that it did on radar is be able to see under the car in front of you. But if the car doesn't have ridiculous tint or is not a truck, where it's opaque, it can still see through the car in front of you to know that the car in front of you is stopping.
It's
but
basically seeing what you see, but
right. And because it's not trying to do sensor fusion between 2 different types of sensors, it's going to have, for me anyway, I've seen less phantom braking and more consistent performance. And as Tesla is saying, empirically, the numbers are better for safety. But as somebody who had I mean, I've still got radar. It's still on. It's just not doing anything for me. It's only comparing what Vision is doing and sending the difference to Tesla. Bless you. When I got the notice, but even before I got the download, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But once you drive it, you realize it's not really losing anything. And in fact, if they shut it down, you might even get better range from not having that emitter and receiver turned on. But for now, it's still on.
You are losing one thing though.
What's that? 5 miles an hour?
Yes. It's now limited to 85 miles an hour instead of 90 miles an hour.
And you can't set the following distance to 1 anymore either. For now.
Correct. For now.
All things I don't do, but okay.
Right.
Some people need it.
Setting the following distance to 1 probably wasn't the safest thing anyway.
Right.
So you're not losing anything there, but you are losing the ability to go 90,
which is important in Texas.
But in some places of the country, that's kind of a big deal because, like you said, Texas being one of them, when the speed limit is 85. So high to begin with, and now you can't keep up with the flow of traffic. Now that's kind of a hindrance to you.
Right. I mean, you can still do the speed limit now, but like you said, Omar, you can't keep up with the flow anymore. So you're stuck in the right hand lane. The when I first got Tesla Vision, it was limited to, I think, following distance of 3 and 80 miles an hour. So I couldn't even do the speed limit in Texas unless I did it myself.
When I got my car, that's what it was. It was limited to 80, and it was limited to following distance of 3. And when I did my cross-country road trip, it was limited to 80 miles an hour. So there were certain
you went
places,
through like Kansas and stuff.
There were certain places where I couldn't use auto steer. I could still use cruise control up to 90.
Oh wow!
But not auto steer. So you can use cruise control even with this under the current situation, current conditions, the way it's set up now, up to 90. So you can do that, but
I guess maybe the steering takes away some of the processing power from just watching and making sure it doesn't hit stuff.
I guess maybe they don't trust it at that speed for the auto steer. I don't know.
That's true. Because at 90, the dynamics have changed a little bit from 80.
Right. So
I don't feel stable going 90 on autopilot. It just feels like the car's going to go careening off the road.
Well, it depends on where you're at, though, because honestly, driving across country in certain areas of where I was at, trust me, you're
just on the straight
You're just
road.
on a straight flat run. It's nothing and nothing around and nothing's there. It's just.
Yeah,
I mean,
but if you're in the city,
okay,
like I am going back and forth to work in the city, you got these curves, and the car
see,
next to you, this
all
thing is
those
going
curves and
90.
stuff that you guys got, and you're going around mountainous roads and all this other or all
Yeah.
other type of topography and other stuff, city life and all
You
that
can't do
stuff.
that at 90.
No, you're not. No. Total different situation. But
Right.
like I said, in certain places where it's just wide open road, you driving through Texas, you're driving through Wyoming, you're driving through Utah or wherever, in certain places where it's just you just straight run on a highway.
Mhm.
It's not crazy to go those speeds. Like you don't
Right.
feel
Right.
unstable, you don't feel unsafe doing those speeds.
Right.
Mhm.
You're wobbling, big fella. You drunk? So a heat wave in China has forced NIO to shut down Tesla and NIO to shut down superchargers and battery swap stations amid a power crunch. I'm thinking because there was a drought, and so the hydropower was less available. So just because you're driving green doesn't mean that it's enough. Because if everybody else is still doing the wrong thing and we're letting runaway climate change happen, it's still going to affect you. Another thing that was pointed out in a completely different, I think I was watching a video about chips. TSMC, they had trouble making chips last year and had to truck in a lot of water. We talked about the trucking in the water way earlier in the show. They had to truck in clean water, but they're saying that next year, if that same drought happens again next year, they might not have what is necessary to like for cooling water and fresh water for the inputs, like washing the chips and stuff. They may not be able to keep their output up next year, even with buying water, because of extreme climate change or extreme weather events, more increased extreme weather. So let's see. Does it say exactly why they shut down? Was it heat, or was it because they didn't have water for the dams? Record demand for electricity, so the air conditioners. And this isn't Texas we're talking about. This is a grid that actually was designed to run in the heat and the cold. It's not just Tesla.
Yeah, just the record heat.
Just so the air conditioners could work. Yeah. There you go. The government has restricted industrial use of electricity from August 15th to August 20th. So even the stuff that's getting this is gonna make stuff interesting, because if components can't get built, then this is gonna continue our supply crunch. So weather that's why
we need locally sourced supplies.
Yeah.
We need to diversify our supply chain. We can't just get all of our supplies from one place. This is this right here just demonstrates why that we need diversity in our supply chain.
Exactly. So speaking of supply chains, Polestar is going to give batteries to Candela for their flying electric boats. We talked about these a few weeks ago and talked about the hydrofoil and how they were more battery efficient, and how it's awesome that you could actually have a conversation on the water instead of screaming at each other over the sounds of diesel or gas engines. Well, now they've secured themselves some batteries. So maybe they're getting the B grade from Polestar or something. I don't know how Polestar has enough extra batteries after making cars that they could give these up, but hey.
So by flying boats, are we talking hydrofoils?
Yeah, hydrofoil.
Okay.
So these ones will we determined that the hydrofoil is a good percentage more efficient than a regular EV boat.
But yeah,
because it picks up most of the body out of the water. Exactly.
So you got way less resistance. Yeah. That's definitely way more efficient.
Yes. Oh, you want that milk? You're looking right at it. Okay. Here you go. Oh, don't cry. You're just playing with it. Why'd you ask for it? Yeah? You don't want to play with me? Okay. Well, I don't want to play with milk. I'll play with your toys. You shouldn't play with your food. I'd get in trouble for playing my food. Not now, but when I was a kid. Blank Tesla theater screen? Here's how to fix it. So, if you got the Tesla theater screen, a reboot doesn't always bring it back. So if you need to bring it back, they said we should do a deeper reboot. And this is not the alleged hard reset, blah blah blah, where you push the brake down, all that garbage. Just pushing the brake down does nothing. We've proven that empirically.
They've taken that out of there. It does nothing now.
Exactly. So people still quote it, and some of the Tesla phone reps still say it, but it's not necessarily.
Well, they'll still say it.
I think that the whole thing is they don't want the car moving.
Because they know if you're sitting there parked with your foot on the brake, you're not driving actively using the vehicle, and then when you're rebooting, you're safer that way because you're just doing that one thing. And you're not
Exactly.
actively driving at the same time. So
Yeah.
that's
But the Tesla Theater doesn't work when you drive anyway, so you should still already be parked for this. And then the two
True.
fixes here are probably best. And this is a little more advanced than a regular reboot, so these probably shouldn't be done while you're driving, because the two ways to do it are first is to change your language and change it back. I don't recommend that way because unless you can work your way around in the second language, you got yourself a little bit of an issue trying to get it back. The easier way. Oh, something quit unexpectedly. Oh, the camera quit. The easier way is to change the size of your wheels and change them back, and you don't want to be driving while you do that, because that will change the way that the your odometer and speedometer work. It'll change the way that your ABS and traction control and everything else work. So another reason to be stopped while you do this. So what I would do is I would go into the vehicle screen, and I would change my wheels to the 22s, let it reboot. I'll change it back to 20s and reboot. Well, obviously you would use whatever fig you have. So if you have a Model 3 with 18s, you would pick with or without the aero covers. And if you have the 19s or 20s, you would do whatever's appropriate with them. And so thank you to Drive Tesla Canada and whoever told them how to do it. Let me give you guys the link to that so you can look it up later if you ever need it. There you go. Hopefully by the time you think you might need it, they'll have updated the software and this bug will be gone. But Tesla's aware of this, so I imagine it won't be this way for long. Unless you run MCU1, but MCU1 doesn't have theater, so it won't be long.
right.
You're getting milk all over me. All right. So the Harbor Air E-Beaver completes a flight across the Salish Sea. We talked about this one on What Drives Us a couple of years ago, and it feels like I was in the apartment when that happened. So yeah, a couple of years ago, they completed their point-to-point test flight in BC, and it's between Richmond and Sydney. The plane took 24 minutes to complete it, and according to the Times columnist, this is the world's first all-electric commercial aircraft flight. They've done this before, so I guess the reason this counts is because it counts as commercial somehow, not like a test flight. Maybe it's the commercial config, because like literally in the article we talked about a couple years ago, it was in the air. Like unless it was in the air on gas before they converted it, I don't see how they got the photo. It's a modified de Havilland Beaver aircraft retrofitted with a Imaginex aircraft electric motor. Congrats to them. So soon they will continue electrifying all the things. Also,
Yes.
oh, well, the other one, the Siemens plane was Siemens and Beavers. The Siemens plane was definitely an experimental aircraft. It caught fire, and I think one person lost their life in that fire.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. But as a test pilot, they were advancing humanity, and so I applaud them for risking their lives to do so. All right, and that's the Beaver again. I actually asked you to give me this link, please.
Oh, there's a damn joke in there somewhere.
Tesla is issuing $200 promo codes instead of providing mobile connectors. Because remember, we talked about what Tesla was going to do if your order was newer than X date. You got no charging provisions. It was just a supercharger, or you could order for a discount. You could order the. I know it was terrible. You could order a mobile connector at a discount, or you could order a wall connector at a really good price, instead of having one included with the car. Yeah, you like that? But now you're getting a $200 promo code. So again, this goes back to what I'm saying, like where if you see what you like, get it. So if you order this now, you get a $200 credit, and pretty soon Tesla will remove that because they like saving money, and that's $200 for them to save right there. She's gonna punch me in the throat. Yeah, so there you go. Get yourself $200 for a mobile connector or a discount off a wall connector. In Canada, you get a $255 discount coupon code because the loony exchange rates. Whoa, what did you just dribble on me? Spit? Oh, you threw up on me. Thank you. Here
Good
you go.
stuff.
It is good stuff. So, what do y'all think about this? Like, I think it's a good move for the people who weren't expecting to get a car that they couldn't refill at home.
All right, yeah. So then they can still just buy one later if they need to, or if they don't, if they already have their
Right.
charging situation set up, they don't need to do
I
it.
still think they should just include the mobile connector by default. Just it's something that
I think they should include it by default and have a checkbox that you can uncheck to save $200.
I like better. I like that idea much better than how they're doing it.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Moto says we'll catch you on the flip side. Also, I want to thank Zachary and Marcus for their generous donations, and of course, all of our channel members and patrons. Catch you next week. And at some point, I'll have a pre-recorded video with like stuff that's been done, like maybe an autopilot video, or we just installed the kick sensor on our Model X, as well as a new aftermarket trailer hitch that has a higher tongue weight than the detachable pretty version that Tesla comes with. So stay tuned for that.